exclamation marks inside triangles.
Okay. Um, so when you clicked on
Oh,
share,
wait, wait, documents, hold on. Notes, no, not notes. Okay. Hmm.
if it's easier, you can select screens instead of documents.
Okay.
That should be the first tab.
Yeah, I see that.
Okay, and then do you see the options for entire screen, application windows?
Yes.
Okay, you may want to just select application windows. That way you can determine um, a single
Okay.
document versus sharing your entire screen.
Uh, okay, I'll just pick one. Oh, hmm, I'm not sure. I get wallpaper options. I don't care about that. Uh, hmm. Share.
If it's an issue, did you want to send it over to us and we
Let me
can?
send it to you. That
Okay,
sounds much better.
yeah.
Yes. Okay. Allow Zoom Workplace to share your screen. Oh, wait a second. Let's try that. Open. No, I'm going to let you do it. That seems much
Okay.
easier.
Go ahead and just email it to the general inbox. You should have that email address already. That's elections.commissions at
Okay.
hawaii.gov.
Okay. Is that where I clicked on for this? Let's see.
No, so you can just, is it a large document? What are we
No, it's
talking?
just it's one page. It's
Okay.
one
Yeah,
Excel
why don't
page.
you email it to me at elections.commissions
Okay.
at hawaii.gov.
Okay, just like elections dot commissions at hawaii.gov. Okay.
Perfect.
All right, I'll do that right now.
All right.
All right.
All right,
Um,
thank you.
okay, thanks.
Commissioner Andrea, can I get a mic and video check, please? As well as Deputy AG Ching.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning. Testing.
Thank you.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Getting in the vehicle, getting in the car, ready to go down to our lunch meeting with the interim police chief to discuss several things regarding, of course, my case and obviously how to make Hawaii real again, things of that nature, So we've created opportunities by going and doing the do, and we have the evidence
Commissioner Kushney, can I get a mic and camera check?
right here. You know, I'm gonna read the police report. I'm 5'4", Chinese, 220-pound female. I mean, the whole police report and complaint is fraudulent. So, I mean, what do you want me to do? Just let it go? Like, Fuck no, they freaking tried to kill me that day. I'm never gonna stop thinking about how justice needs to be served, you know.
And if they're doing this to you, who else are they doing it to?
And but the ministries we know, we have enough insight and details and incident reports and collective data to put everybody in the state away. You know what I mean? Like that's just for real, for real. We can't. That's not our fault. We just did the job that a lot of people didn't want to do. A lot of people who were bought and sold just turned their head away, and it was a big deal when we put our faces on these yard signs and banners and to stand up and say, hey, no, no,
Can
we're
I get
not
an
picking
audio
that
check,
side.
please?
You know, I don't know. I think it's bigger than people reading the news.
Perfect. Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, and it all ties back together like this elections commission meeting we're listening into now. You ran for governor in 2022, nonpartisan, and now you're campaigning to end human trafficking in Hawaii. And actually, if we
Hi,
have a
Commissioner Cam. Just
populist
checking on the
governor
progress of that
in
email. I
place,
haven't
then we
yet
can
received your
easily end it.
Right. It didn't go the first time because I had an S.
Correct. When you have correct
but I just sent it
people
again.
running the shop, you have corrupt situations, and it's a high probability in an outcome. You know what I mean? And it's been going on for a long time, which
See, your camera's
you know,
working.
nobody can say like for the last 50 years it hasn't been going on across the world. So let's just pinpoint that and then pinpoint this and who's the network with this and now does it make sense? Just like with the elections, it was totally rigged. It's been rigged. It's been rigged. I mean, as far as I've been home, and home is Hawaii for me, right? As far as so I was born, so I was raised. But as far as I've been home after being gone for 20 years, the elections were rigged. I mean, I can say that just very peacefully at this
I mean,
point.
the
I don't
very
think that-
first election was rigged, wasn't it? American missionaries and like soldiers voting whether or not Hawaii would become a state. How many like real Kanaka, like local Hawaiians that really lived here were part of that vote?
Well, and then it's you go to 1893, right? And then I'll take care of the Kamehameha line. Let me talk about it because I am Kanaka,
Yeah,
right? But
I
for
don't
as
know.
far
I'm still
as
learning.
far
Yeah.
as far as foreign stuff, it gets us to that point right then and there. It's like, hey, if you want fair and free elections, then you
Commissioner
have to be
Austin
a part of
Campbell,
the
see your video is
solution.
working. Can I get an audio check?
You know what I mean?
Yep,
You
I'm here.
really you have to go
Thank you.
like I just ran just to see what would happen. You know what I mean? Because I already knew that the 2020 election was stolen.
Right.
I already knew the 2020. So if people don't clean it up, and look at how long it's taken so far. Like Ralph is doing a great job exposing a lot of things in the state capacity.
Yeah.
But then again, we have to bounce back. Okay, there was history. There's history that people don't know about. And I believe that the world, if they knew the truth, they would think, wait, it would be a drastic, like, holy shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It would be that drastic. And I believe since 2020, a lot of
Hi,
people have
Commissioner
been
Cam.
awakened,
I have yet to receive it,
because
so I
of
went
it
ahead
just
and
got
sent you
so
a
bad.
test email.
You know?
If you or once you receive that, you can go ahead and reply to it with your attachment. That way I know that you're sending it to the correct email address.
I'm trying to like remove your name is covering your mouth on my display here. If you angle your phone forward a little bit and down, I guess, then like
Are you talking to me?
opposite. Yeah, there.
Right
Now I
Oh,
can
okay,
see
sorry.
like
actually
I tried to
just
remove your
received
name,
it. I
but
think we're all
it's
set
good to
then.
have your name. If it's your full name, is better. But
They just have to learn how to pronounce Kele right before they can go
Kele.
any further.
Yeah,
you
then they
know?
can get your last name. Yeah,
My
baby
gosh.
steps, baby steps.
Baby steps. You get Kylie, Kili, Kale, Kule,
Keline.
Kamanawanalea. I am a Wahine. I
All right, yeah,
definitely
we're
am a
about to begin
Wahine.
with this. I see Osterkamp. Is that his name? I can never remember his name. That lawyer, Osterkamp. Jeffrey Osterkamp. We got Commissioner Cushney. We got this other guy, Dylan Andrian. Yeah, he's actually like solid, like honest, real dude. For
Joe said the
liberty and
same thing.
justice. I love it. He's got a little logo at the top. Yes, all right. We're having an influence then. People are
Yeah,
doing it.
Joe definitely likes Dylan. He hasn't had anything. You know, Joe knows a lot about a lot of people that
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't around Hawaii as long as some people were, you know. I was away for 20 years and coming back, you know, like Joe's at a different age point than I am. So he knows a lot of people. He said a lot of good things about Dylan so far. And you know me, I'm just the calculator on the side taking mental note, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
You're saying good things too, so that's really nice. I know two people who know that person. That's how referrals usually work, you know.
Yeah,
You don't
exactly.
send good people to shitty people, you know what I mean, and expect to have a book of business, you know, longer
Yeah, I
than
haven't talked to Dylan directly or met him or anything, but I did hear high praise from a couple people that I really trust on this issue. And I mean, you see him showing up in the Zoom calls. Like this guy could be the chair, Ralph could be the chair. And yeah, we just need Scott Nago to go away. We need these slimy lawyer
well, in all, I
scumbags
mean, again, in
to
technicality,
disappear.
we're in an occupation. There shouldn't be any state elections, but I'm gonna go run for governor anyways because I know I can do a peaceful transfer of power. But then it is who to where to who,
Yeah.
right? And so
Well, and
like
we
that's
need
why people.
somebody for governor that doesn't suck, dude.
I don't
We
suck.
gotta have somebody, right?
I don't
Like,
suck. I'm pretty awesome, and just people haven't known who I was. You know, I'm younger than the average person who's been around in all of these different movements. I speak
yeah.
a different language because I understand business and
Do you see this
essentially.
Osterkamp dude? He looks so scared. Sorry to interrupt.
But they're all
He's got
committed.
like
They all
dark
committed
circles. He
treason.
hasn't been sleeping. I think he got threatened, maybe.
I'm
Woo.
pretty sure they aren't sleeping because suddenly there's people who aren't going to take this shit from the corruption anymore. And suddenly there's people in the court that's all collaboratively doing their work.
Aloha
It's moving
and
through
good
the
morning.
channels of the
I have
Oh,
10
chain.
o'clock. I'll
and we're
call
on.
the Elections Commission
Okay.
meeting to order. This meeting is being conducted via video conference and telephone. I would like to remind the commissioners to keep their cameras on for the duration. Before we take the
Yes,
roll, I'd like to
Ralph.
acknowledge the
Or
resignations of Commissioners Young
Curtis
and
is saying one
Kawada.
thing we
or
like right
chair.
now.
Commissioner Young submitted resignation on August
They're gonna be on
15th.
here.
Effective
The
August
commissioners gonna
18th,
show their faces. They all like
Commissioner
to fight.
Kawada submitted his resignation on August
Peeping
20th,
So
toms.
two
effective
have
immediately.
resigned.
We've sent letters to their
Ralph has
respective
not been
appointing
debunked.
authorities, informing
Idiots on
them of their
Instagram
duties to
saying he
fill the
was debunked.
vacancies. Could the secretary take roll, please?
Yep. Commissioner Andrian,
How many people are on
Present.
it, Andrew?
I
many
just
people?
checked
Commissioner
to look,
Kushni,
and it looked like
Here.
I don't know. Let me check here.
Commissioner Cam,
Let's go.
Present.
Multi-speaker.
Commissioner McAdam,
Oh yeah, 68 right now.
Commissioner Osterkamp,
Here.
68 witnesses.
Commissioner
Yeah.
Papalimu,
So
excused.
let's go on the
Chair
cell
Curtis.
phone and
Here.
push this ad
Chair, there
again.
is a quorum.
Thank you. Discussion and
I
decision
mean, if
making
Joe's gonna
relating to
run, he wants
Commissioner
to
Young's
win
permitted interaction group
legitimately, you know, this
report
time.
Yeah.
on the investigation in the
I
state
do
and county
too. It matters.
compliance with HAR 3-177 and discrepancies in ballot counts and recommendations to the state of Hawaii. We'll take public testimony on this item. Would the secretary please
Is he
get the
about to cry?
testifiers
Yep.
and allow them permission?
If you would like to testify, please click raise hand under reactions on Zoom. If you are joining us by phone, dial *9 to raise your hand. When your name is called, you will receive a notification requesting you to unmute your microphone. Please promptly accept the request. If you are experiencing technical difficulties and are unable to unmute your microphone, we will move on to the next testifier and return to you at a later time. We ask that you clearly state your first and last name at the start of your testimony so that your name is properly recorded. Lastly, to ensure that we will have sufficient time to hear all the testimony, each testifier will have 3 minutes to testify. Once your time has expired, you'll be asked to conclude your remarks. The first testifier is Nolan Chang, followed by Jennifer Hunt.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Good morning. Aloha,
Morning.
Chief Curtis. and
Aloha.
all election commission board members. My name is Nolan Chang. I'm the Hawaii Republican Party National Committeeman. For your situational awareness, I wanted to share with you a letter I wrote recently to the Department of Justice. Here is an abbreviated version. I'm writing to request a thorough investigation into the Hawaii Office of Elections and Hawaii Election Commission due to numerous allegations and evidence of election irregularities, ballot fraud, chain of custody problems, and more. Based on the information I am submitting for your review, there are several issues that warrant a full investigation. One, audit and ballot reconciliation concerns. Post-election audits are conducted using ballot images rather than physical ballots, which can be manipulated or duplicated. The final number of mail-in ballots counted on Kauai increased by 661 without explanation, suggesting potential ballot addition during the process. The final number of mail-in ballots counted on Hawaii Island increased by 19,000 without explanation, suggesting potential ballot addition during the process. Two, chain of custody problems. None of the counties are keeping chain of custody in accordance with HAR 3 TAC 177 TAC 453, which means the number of ballots collected by the counties cannot be accurately compared to the number reported counted by the state. Ballots transferred from Kauai to the state counting center were transported in unsealed cardboard trays, violating security protocols, HAR 3 TAC 177, TAC 61. Three, signature verification issues. Signature verification is not conducted in the presence of official observers, and there are no logs or records to audit this process, making it non-transparent and non-credible. The number of ballots reported as signature verified is tracked by the statewide voter registration system, but counties do not report these numbers, leading to potential discrepancies. Four, transparency and accountability. The state and counties do not provide clear documentation or explanations for discrepancies between manual counts and official counts. Official observers are not allowed to witness key processes like signature verification and ballot envelope collection, limiting public oversight. I urge the Department of Justice to conduct a comprehensive investigation into these allegations and take appropriate action to ensure the integrity of future elections in Hawaii. I have attached all relevant documents, including witness statements and other evidence supporting these claims. In conclusion, to all Election Commission board members, out of all due respect, please be prepared for an investigation by the Department of Justice. Mahalo nui for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Chang.
Yes, that's
Okay,
why
the
we
next
voted for
testifier is
Nolan
Jennifer
Chang.
Hunt, followed by Paul Delorier.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning. Yes.
Thank you. I just wanted to sort of piggyback on what Mr. Chang had said and speak on the signature verification. I was an official observer for both the primary and the general elections, and I did reach out to the clerk to ask to be part of that.
We've lost you, Jennifer.
Well, isn't that convenient, huh? We just magically lost her.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
The internet
Yes,
in
we
Hawaii
got you.
can be spotty.
That was weird. Okay, so what I was saying is I did reach out to the clerk during that primary election time before the primary and asked to be part of that observing team on the ballot, since there is that HAR, sorry, it's not an HAR, it's an HRS, Hawaii revised statute that basically says anytime ballots are being handled, there must be official observers from both parties or all parties present watching that process. And so I reached out to be part of that team. And I was told by the clerk that observers are only for the counting centers. But I mean, that's also true, right? We need observers in every point in when there is ballots being handled, because otherwise there's just workers handling the ballots. And that's actually goes against the statute. So the HARS, it's 11-154, it's records and disposition. The voted ballots shall be kept secure and handled only in the presence of representatives not of the same political party or official observers in accordance with the rules adopted for the various voting systems. And it goes on. But I just wanted to reiterate that we have a breakdown in this process from the drop boxes. No observers are there to see who's signing off. The lack of records in Maui County, and the general disregard for people who are asking for these things, who are wanting the elections to be secure, so we can all be, we all can say, well, if things are right and secure, then we're all happy with it, even if we don't like the outcome. But that's not happening, and so we really need to have some changes here. And I believe it's the Election Commission's duty to follow up on these investigations and these processes to allow for those changes to happen. I appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Hunt.
The next testifier is Paul Delorier, followed by Austin Martin.
Good morning.
Good morning. Aloha, Commissioners. My name is Paul Delorier, and I'm here on Maui. I have been an observer for 4 elections. Also, I am the director of the Maui Pono Network. It's a political action committee where we spend thousands of hours vetting candidates and then supporting them in the
only
campaigns.
if they're Democrat, Paul.
We have many, many volunteers, hundreds of volunteers, and it's very discouraging when I see the processes that I've witnessed in our elections.
Why don't
Let me start by just
reinforcing
what Jennifer was just saying. I try to get into be an observer for the signature verification. And I was only able to go like 2 rooms away from where the actual verification was happening. And then on top of that, we have issues with the thumb drives. Now, if you can imagine that they are collecting hundreds of these little thumb drives. And again, they are not being monitored. There's no observers over these thumb drives. Basically, what happens at the polls, they take each voting machine has a thumb drive like this. They collect them at the end of the day, and then they bring them to the main counting center in our chambers. And then from there, Hart puts them in their machine. They do not use the paper ballots that are verified by the voters as they put them in the machine. They use these thumb drives. These thumb drives can, first of all, be lost, misplaced. They can be changed also. They are vulnerable for hacking, even though Hart says that they are secure and that but there is ways that these devices can be hacked. And I've talked to several computer experts, and they said it's not a big deal to do that. Then we go from these thumb drives, we go into Hart's machine, and if we look at what's happened there, I have seen from election integrity groups how they can change these computers midway through. So even though there's verification happening on a few ballots, there's aspects of that can be manipulated within the Hart machine itself. Then there's the transfer of this over to Oahu, to their tabulators. First of all, that transfer process is also vulnerable, as well as the tabulators themselves. I have seen it time and time again, where they've shown where I was with a group in California, and I asked them, can you go hack Alaska? So they got into the county tabulators in Alaska.
Thank you.
They had the codes. So again, I'm very concerned about all of these different aspects. We had a petition put out about Scott Nago to.
Thank you, Mr. Delorier.
I don't trust his petition either, but.
Okay, the next testifier is Austin Martin, followed by Tara Rojas.
Aloha.
Austin and
Thank
Sarah.
you for having me. My name is Austin Martin. I am the chairman of the Libertarian Party of Hawaii. I represent the libertarian movement out here in a big way,
He's
and
an honest and real
I've
dude.
definitely been here before, and I've been watching these problems unfold for several years. I was an election observer in 2022 when I attempted to report serious misconduct. I was threatened with arrest and removed from duty. And this is an extremely concerning pattern of omissions and errors that really just pervade the entire elections process. In Title II, 19-3, what is it, subsection 8, every public officer by law required to do or perform an act or a thing with reference to any provisions in any law concerning elections who willfully fails, neglects, or refuses to do or perform the same, or who is guilty of any willful violation of any of these provisions thereof, is guilty of election fraud. I believe that's misdemeanor election fraud. It's a pretty substantial charge, though, and would be relevant to this discussion.
Hey, I think it's
Because
treason,
earlier
right?
this
Isn't it,
year, I
Austin?
attempted to get the
So when in Hawaii,
statewide voter list,
they make a little
which by
stop
law
on the
should be
way for
available from the
so-
Office of Elections. The Office of Elections declined our request, so we are not able to have the statewide voter list. And there's a problem because there are discrepancies between the counties and the statewide list. And for the purposes of running a political party, we definitely need our data that we're entitled to by law. So their willful refusal to provide that is a little bit mystifying and troubling. I'll be honest. I watched them do things in the 2022 primary that made me feel like it was not at all secure, including things that specifically violate statute.
We filmed
That
it
was
together, didn't we,
systematically covered
Khalid?
up. Everything I had to say was covered up. I got
Yep.
threats. I got all kinds of stuff. It was bad. It was really, really bad, and all because I tried to tell the truth. And there are a lot of
Thank
people
you,
who've been working a
Austin.
long time here.
Yes,
A
sir.
lot of people who have had to
Yeah.
suffer in order to get us to this point, to get people to listen. And I think it's a violation of the law to not take action on the matters here, regardless of which party it helps or hurts. Let the chips fall where they may and do the right thing. That's what we're here to do. We care about our ohana, we care about our aina, we care about our people. And this is our only way to really restrain the abuses of government that are happening every day in Hawaii. It's a disaster. Things are falling apart. And this election process is the core of fixing it. You have more than enough evidence to act. You have more than enough going on to know that this is wrong. You have a chance to do the right thing before the hammer comes down, and it will come eventually in one form or another. If you make peaceful redress of grievances impossible, you make much less desirable options inevitable. And I would just hope that you guys remember that what you're doing has consequences.
Hallelujah, bro.
Thank you, Mr. Martin.
The next testifier is Tara Rojas, followed by Shelby Billionaire.
Gotta love Tara. She's a
Aloha,
tiger for
Tara.
truth.
Let's go,
I'm
Shelby.
gonna echo what everyone said, that it is time that truth prevails. It is time that Pono prevails. It is time that Hawaii stands in truth. The truth of the matter is that there is corruption at all levels in this election process and in the standing of the state as well. This is not a state. It's a belligerently unlawful, illegal, occupying fake state of Hawaii. Thus, for 132 years, we've lived in this corruption. So this agenda item, we need to make sure that it stands, as we heard last meeting and previous meetings, that for some people it has been a year or so. Again, just trying to get their basic right to be heard, especially when they're calling out things that are wrong. They have these complaints that until we really kept showing up, kept insisting that laws and rights are upheld, did it finally happen? So there are going to be consequences for being unlawful, being deceitful, and being a part of this continuous corruption of the fake state of Hawaii, which does not have jurisdiction. However, in the meantime, we can rectify what is wrong, and we have it on today's agenda item, the 3 agenda items, and so putting that for the record, as well as even if resignations took place, if they were a part of it, everyone is accountable. So we have the records of the minutes. We can look at the decision making, and mind you, a lot of the meetings, the minutes were not even correctly written.
They're not
things were
correct.
included.
They're not correct.
That's why we had to keep on to make sure that the meetings didn't continue on as they have been, just shutting the voice out, shutting the voice of the people out and those representing the voice of the people, so that, again, pono and justice prevails. So that's all I have to say. And that will go for next 2 agenda items as well, same thing. Let the truth prevail, let pono prevail. It's
Thank you.
time corruption. Mahalo.
Hallelujah, Tara.
The next testifier is Shelby Billionaire, followed by Janet Mason.
Go Shelp. Let's go Shelps. Let's go Pikachu.
Yeah, where is he? Let's see his camera pop up. I love his shining face.
Shelby, we can't hear you.
Ohana Unity Party, where are you at, Pikachu? He's under his own name here.
Can you
That
guys
is
hear
his
me?
legal
Can you
name,
guys see me?
everybody.
I don't see my video.
We can hear you.
Am I blocked off?
I don't think so.
You're not,
I
you're
don't
not
see the
muted,
video
Shelps.
either.
I don't see the video. Oh, there we go. Okay.
There you go.
we go.
I couldn't unmute myself. Also, Chair
Where's his
Curtis, just to
glasses?
clarify, are we talking about each item agenda on the agenda or just this number 3?
This number 3.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, I did send another email. Thank you guys for the time. I'll just make this one real quick since I already put it on Facebook and I highlighted it up now. We're filming on Instagram and all these things to spread the truth because not all of it is Chair Curtis's fault. I know everyone wants to point the finger because Scott Nagel's actually in charge. But, we have massive discrepancies highlighting the 19,000 ballot discrepancy in Hawaii County, 3,772 in Kauai. You got Peter Young, who's coming on brand new. I like the guy who was turning a new flavor, and then he quit and resigned for unknown reasons. Kawada, we never got along. He always said no, like Brenton Ava, and now he's gone. To me, when you're leaving the scene of the crime and you're in a high position of volunteerism and you don't have to leave, you're still in your term, and you finally quit, you know something's wrong. It's like the rats are leaving the ship. They don't want any liability. I've already reported this to the FBI, to DOE, Department of Law Enforcement. I know the Republicans are watching.
Get him,
I sent
Shelby.
them the emails. They're on the listening tour. You got Diamond Garcia, Rep. Shanice, who are listening on now. When I check the participant list, these are measurable federal fraud concerns, which concerns DOE, Department of Law Enforcement, because it's above city and county. The cops can't do nothing about this, why people are getting away with it.
Now's the
And you
time
guys
to
are
release that
inspiring me
Lynn
to get
Finnegan
full
video.
transparency and justice for everyone who's listening on Instagram land, Facebook land, X land, Kenny land, whatever's going on. What's the point of us running for office, telling us to vote if the elections are rigged for the Democratic Party? And they're not even going to let people in because I'm trying to make the third party. I'm the chairman from the Ohana Unity Party, and because I don't trust the white devil's pale skin after watching Chief of War, they might try to go my back and make this Elon Musk America Party. So just in case, we pulled
talking
paperwork
over
right
him?
here to show all of you. We pulled paperwork for the America Party.
on, Joe.
Carl Dix is now the chairman for the America Party. We didn't get along with Austin Martin because he took the money from the Libertarian Party, screwed the marketing budget on the radio and some other things. I don't trust a lot of people in this political game, which is why you should be transparent, just like I sent Epstein files to everyone out there. And we can make an impact by working together because the FBI investigates, but who's going to prosecute? There's no one really enforcing the laws. Even Mike Lambert can't do it all on his own. They have their own judiciary board. There's internal issues. We do have a mini town hall with Rep. Chris Moroka tonight in Waianae Arca Safety. If you guys are going to be there, come on out. I encourage all of you guys to participate actively, because we'll be talking about the agenda items. We do want justice. I do want to be able to address the issues and hear from the commissioners who are out there, because even if we write bills on Capitol Hill, if the criminals keep on cheating the system through federal white-collar crime, Who's going to do about it? The feds are now in DC trying to manage their streets when they should be handling these kind of terrorists, election fraud, and other crimes. My time's running out, so thanks. The ball's back in your court. We want truth, transparency, and justice because that's the American and Hawaiian way with aloha. Chihu.
Aloha.
The next testifier is Janet Mason, followed by Yumi Kawano.
They were from Tara to Shelby.
Wow.
Good morning, Chair Curtis and Commissioners. I'm Janet Mason from the League of Women Voters of Hawaii, testifying today on behalf of the League.
A league?
Based on our knowledge of election procedures, as shown in the 2024 official manual called Counting Center Operations, and our firsthand experience observing counting activities in the state and the Honolulu voting operations, we think the description of the operations is correct. But this still doesn't resolve the discrepancy between the vote count that was established by the Office of Elections, which, as contained in the report, they came up with a 6-vote difference, and the results of the PIGS study, which came up with a 161 vote difference. So that really didn't get resolved. But we know that after the 2024 election, Commissioner Cushing did file a complaint regarding the Kauai County elections and the 661 vote difference. Very importantly, complaints like this are resolved by the Hawaii State Supreme Court. And in December of 2024, the court found that they dismissed Commissioner Cushing's complaint, and they gave a detailed explanation of why. They didn't come to the same conclusion
now
as
everybody's got to get on the Ralph
Cushing, that there was a material difference in the count. To us, this means the complaint is settled, even if some of the commissioners are unsatisfied. We were disappointed that the report offered by the state and the county did not address the issue of chain of control, because this has been a very persistent and contentious question discussed at the commission for more than a year. So I do wish that the report had contained a definition of this idea and examples of where the county and the state already use these chain of control practices. This doesn't mean there might be flaws in the practices. This was not addressed. But we do offer comments about the Dropbox chain of control, because we've heard different ideas that we don't support, like the idea of taking an inventory of the ballots at the time the ballots are removed from the drop boxes, taking a second inventory at the time they arrive at the counting center. We don't support this. Instead, we think this is a situation where security is what you're trying to achieve. So it is better to have secure removal of the ballots from the drop boxes put into a locked container before transporting the ballots to the counting center, followed by a count, and then counted at the counting center. Locked vehicles, locked containers preferred.
Thank you, Ms. Mason.
The next testifier is Yumi Kawano, followed by Jamie Detweiler.
Instagram doesn't look like it's live streaming. What's
Jamie?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yumi Kawano. I'm calling you from Volcano, Hawaii Island. Thank you for having this meeting. And thank you for the people who brought this to my attention. I ran for county mayor, Hawaii County Mayor, 2024, 2020. I've always known something's been wrong, and there's enough evidence to, in my opinion, this is now out of this. In my opinion, we should be doing everything we can to make sure that folks can vote. Everything, so that people have a voice, even to a point where there's shuttle service. Bring back polling places, but more than anything, because there's been 19,000 unaccounted ballots for the island of Hawaii, I say, in my opinion, this is discriminating for votes. And in my opinion, the federal government needs to oversee this unfair state election in Hawaii through the Department of Justice and federal courts. It's now time to take it out of the state's hands. And I believe a vote needs to be recounted. There needs to be another vote. This is absurd. And it's only fair to the people of the state of Hawaii that it's redone. We must comply with the federal statutes in the U.S. Constitution, and we haven't. Not me, but those that are in charge. I don't know who. I'm not pointing fingers. I don't have enough information. But we can't even recall all those ballots because we don't know where 19,000 ballots are for this island alone. We need to have federal observers. We need intervention. That's all there is to it. And I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that that happens. I saw people homeless that wanted to vote, and I gave them and I helped them vote, get registered, but all for nothing. So please do everything you can. If you have a conscience, and I know we all do, most of us do, then let's do the right thing. Thank you for allowing me to be here to talk to you about this. And again, we need a federal intervention, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that happens. Aloha.
Thank you, Ms. Kawano.
The next testifier is Jamie Detweiler, followed by Andrew Acker.
Andrew Acker.
Aloha, can you hear me?
Zoom link so
Aloha,
that I can hop
yes.
on and do a testimony.
Yes, Chair, thank you.
Yeah.
My name is
Stand by.
Jamie Detweiler.
Thank you.
I'm the president of the Hawaiian Islands Republican Women and also a former 2022 House of Representatives candidate. Today, I'd like to testify on agenda item number 3 in support of Commissioner Young's and his team's recommendations from the PIG that was conducted. I think it's really important to focus on those points. I'm not going to go over every single one of them, but I will highlight the first 2 points. To hold the state and county officials accountable for what happened during the 2024 election. Also, to request that efforts be made to modify the administration of elections in the future, and change the rules to ensure the security of the ballots. I also strongly recommend that a permitted interaction group investigation be conducted for each county. I'm very glad that it was done for Kauai County, and it should have been done. But there have been many discrepancies and observations, hard evidence of, I'm going to say it, corruption, because processes, procedures were not followed. I served as an official election observer for the 2024 election, and there are many things that I did see and have previously noted in this election commission meeting, which have not been addressed to this day. I cited those specifics on my written testimony, and I hope each of the commissioners on the call today have taken the time to read my testimony. Specifically, HAR 3-177-453, the accountability and security of ballots. I cannot stress that enough. Many testifiers have also stated that they've made those observations with regards to chain of custody. There is a lack of security, no checks and balances. And lastly, I'd like to respectfully remind every elections commissioner on this call that they took an oath of office. Yes, it is a voluntary position, but it's something to really remember the oath that you swore to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Hawaii. And you swore to faithfully discharge the responsibilities of your office. And we need to also hold our Mr. Scott Nago accountable for his duties and responsibilities as well. So I strongly recommend that a pig be conducted for every single county and to assign leaders and team members immediately. Mahalo.
Thank you, Ms. Detweiler.
The next testifier is Andrew Acker, followed by phone number ending in 6793.
Aloha kako, Andrew Aker here. Mahalo everyone for being here. Mahalo e keakua and EO. Thank God for all of the public support for Ralph Kushney and for the other people that are in the commission we're really working to do the right thing. And I just want to take this time to pray for Mike Curtis, for Scott Nago, to pray for Jared Osterkamp, because I could see the fear in their faces. I could see the stress. And I pray to God that he will guide their decision making and everyone in the commission's decision making, and do the right thing, to do the pig, as Jamie said, do a pig on every single island in every county, and really get to the bottom of things and turn a new leaf. Now is the opportunity to turn a new leaf, and as we can see, it's really unpopular to not support Ralph Kushney. And in this political game, as Pikachu is saying, it's hard to trust people, but there's a bandwagon thing happening right now. So I encourage everyone to get on this bandwagon we call truth and liberty. And yeah, mahalo for your time. I yield. And amen at the same time. That was a prayer and a little bit of soapbox. Mahalo.
Thank you, Mr. Aker.
The next testifier is phone number ending in 6793, followed by Keone Payton.
Oh, Keone's up.
Hello,
Keone
aloha. My
Payton,
name
Big
is
Island.
Devin Parker Evans, and I'm an official election observer from the island of Kauai. I'm testifying here today to make certain that our elections remain as reported, which were fair and very rigorously maintained. I do not support the recommendations made in Amendment 3. I have not personally witnessed any lack of chain of custody on Kauai. I personally participated in many days of election counting, including election night and during the audit functions. And I urge the commission to listen to me and to please not change the reported 2024 election results on Kauai, primarily because I was actually a real-time observer, not only to the actual testing of the voting machine accuracy, but also to the live voter counting, and witnessed the voter ballot lockbox security system. And on top of that, I not only observed all these strict procedures at the voter counting facility, but I also accompanied the voter boxes to and from the election office. And I helped to view and observe and count the ballots at the remote voter drop boxes.
Give us your name.
In each event, there were several observers of different party affiliations, and we all had to agree on the results and the number of ballots transferred from the voter drop boxes, et cetera, to our vehicle, and then to transfer them to the election officers. And at each event and at each stop, we had to initial and verify it. So I also participated in observing how the electronic votes from our military and overseas are recorded and counted, and I was very impressed by the tactics.
That's what it sounds
I
like.
do not believe there's
Kauai.
been corruption in our election system. The Hawaii Supreme Court has come to that conclusion as well, and we should follow the Supreme Court's decision. Can there have been isolated and small human errors that we need to correct? Yes, I do believe that there have been a few small counting errors, and I support changing and improving the few little things that voting by mail has brought up. But I do not feel that there was a direct corruption in our system, mainly because I was a witness to every single conflict issue that came up on Kauai. And one example I'll give you of a human error that I will share was a pickup from a drop box in Kalaheo, which was counted and verified by me. And then we discovered there were 2 envelopes from the county of Oahu in that Kauai drop box. Now, did Oahu registered voters move to Kalaheo and then choose to drop their ballots at Kalaheo in an effort to make certain that their vote was counted? Or did a visitor and family member from Oahu who was staying with friends and family in Kalaheo believe that they needed to vote on that day, and they dropped their box at Kalaheo? And either reason for the 2 envelopes we discovered at the Kalaheo drop box should not have canceled those votes for Oahu, and they should not have been counted as Kalaheo precinct votes either. This is one example of how 2 votes from the pickup count may have been different from that of which the county received. But either way, it was well documented in every office. It was discussed by the election officers and the election team at both the voting center and the election office. And if they were noted on the pickup forms, then this would be a small difference between the actual Kauai count pickup and the final determined vote count. And this is just one example of a possible small error out there. There's no way was the vote count 600 differences.
Thank you.
Okay, I thank you.
What's
I just
your
ask
name?
that you maybe try to correct small errors, but do not believe there's corruption. That is just a lie. Thank you for letting me speak and validate the hard work of all the election officers.
Get out of here.
Thank you.
The next testifier is Keone Payton, followed by Magaso William Dennis.
Say about this chick?
Then Magaso.
Aloha, you guys.
Aloha.
Good morning. Hey, good morning, you guys.
That's painkillers on Instagram.
Yeah, I just want to let you guys know that I just heard 3 minutes of word vomit from a lady that I don't know where she's getting her statistics.
We're talking about item 3, please.
Well, he's talked about everything. So the numbers are there. The receipts are there. So I don't know what she's talking about. One single person cannot verify the whole voting, all the ballots in all of Hawaii. And that is ridiculous that because she worked for it. She sounds like a plant to me. She sounds like that somebody's probably going to try to elect her and give her this position now that was
please stick to the item on the agenda.
Right?
The item is the corruption. I wouldn't be on here if there wasn't any corruption. And you guys were doing things
for real
that you guys are supposed to do. Now I don't know if it's negligence or just pure stupidity, but I'm gonna go with pure stupidity by now. Okay, I'm not gonna give you guys the benefit of the doubt because this is ridiculous. This has gone on for years. And you guys need to be held accountable. The only one is Ralph Kushney. Anybody Osterkamp, full of crap. You, Mike Curtis, full of crap. Bro, you are a disgrace. I can't even believe you. Why would you want to live here? Why would you even want to live in Hawaii? So you can turn it into this crazy far left clown show like California? Where are you guys from?
Not here.
Where are you guys from?
That's not what we want.
I'm not from here, but I don't want
Man,
California
you moved to a
here.
place. Please respect that place.
Yes,
Understand that there's values and alignment with a certain place that you guys are moving to. You guys have to change. You guys don't. It's not your job to make us change. This is out of hand.
Change yourself
Time.
if you want to change the world.
I yield.
Thank you.
You go, Keone.
The next testifier is Magaso William Dennis, followed by Susan Strom.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Magaso William Dennis. Thank you to the commission for forming a PIG committee to investigate 19,000 missing votes on Big Island. They could have changed the outcome of many elections. I support Ralph Kushney in his efforts to pursue truth and fair elections in Hawaii. As I mentioned during my Kauai testimony, it applies to those involved in Big Island elections is this. Anyone participating in election fraud during the 2020, 2022, 2024 elections needs to resign, lawyer up, or become a whistleblower for participating in the overthrow of the Republic form of government by your involvement in an unfair election in support of the UN agendas 2021, 2030, the COVID-19 hoax, and the experimental bioweapon, or better known as crimes against humanity. It is no secret that mail-in voting is the most insecure way of voting. Machines are hackable and susceptible to software that can flip votes, and admin access by unauthorized personnel, and more is real. We need a holiday for elections. We need in-person voting by voter ID with watermarked paper ballots and same-day hand counting of ballots in real time.
Yeah, run on that for
For
governor.
those here
Have a
or
state
listening
holiday
in
declared.
that were
Governor can
directly
do that,
involved
right?
in or observe election interference and more,
Yeah, I mean,
the
Josh
pathway
Green's
to
doing
accountability
anything he
will
wants
come
right
through
now,
the
trashing
following
everything,
potential
using his
and alleged
executive
crimes in
state
violation
powers.
of Hawaii revised statutes, chapters 11 section 132, chapter 19, section 3, chapter 19, section 3.5, section 4, section 6, chapter 571, section 57, chapter 708, section 835.65, section 871, section 875, chapter 710, section 1010, 1061, 1062, 1072, 1076, and 1080. The Hawaii Constitution, Article 1, Section 2, the Hawaii Constitution, Article 1, Section 5, and Article 2, Section 4. Alleged potential violations of U.S. codes under Title 18, Section 201B, 241, Section 242, Section 371, Section 595, Section 597, Section 1001, Section 1030, Section 1331, 41, Section 1343, 1346, Section 1349, Section 1353.
This is gonna keep going
Also,
for an
Section
hour, bro.
1503, Section 1512, Section
We're throwing
1519,
the whole
Section
book at you clowns.
1621, Section 1623, Section
They should have never fucked
1708,
around.
Section 1918, Section 1961 through 1968 are potential RICO violations.
I wouldn't want to
Section
be facing off against
2385,
Mengeso in
Title
court.
42, Section 1983, Title 52, Section 10307,
Thank you.
Section
Mengeso
20511,
means
Section
eagle, by the way,
20511
folks.
2B. In the U.S. Constitution, 14th
Thank you.
and 5th
Thank you,
Amendments.
Mr. William Dennis.
The next testifier is Susan Strom, followed by
Oh, now we
Wallen
got
Christian.
Susie News.
Aloha. On the agenda, I do want to make a quick comment on phone number 6793, who asserts we should trust our Supreme Court. She obviously expresses lack of awareness that we have a captured court system that has worked in concert with their larger agenda and has often weaponized against the people of Hawaii for their profit, their own profit and convenience.
You're talking about item 3?
I'm talking about the agenda item we're talking about.
Thank you.
Yes. And I'll roll into that in a minute. So these courts across the nation have been politicized, and they are being constantly exposed as such. U.S. Senator Michael Lee of Utah recently blasted mail-in ballots, demanding the end of them to protect election integrity. President Trump also recently posted his pledge to get rid of mail-in ballots and, quote, the highly inaccurate, expensive, controversial voting machines, which cost 10 times more than the accurate and sophisticated watermark paper, which is faster and leaves no doubt at the end of the evening as to who won and who lost the election, unquote. So much so that he's going to be issuing an executive order directing this in the near future. With all that we know now concerning election anomalies, it's hard to be repetitive, but here we are. Today, it's hard for many of us to fathom why there has been such a defense here in Hawaii in persisting to utilize these high-risk voting methods while many other states are reporting and suing over the same anomalies. Why is there such a pushback over election integrity? Unless there's something to hide. If there isn't, then why the resistance to an outside independent audit? I fully support all the PIG action on all the islands, and I hope that we can expedite this instead of recycling this from meeting to meeting and just slowing the process down. Independent audit, full transparency, that's what we need. Do we people deserve any less? We're voting for a future with a quality of life that we want to hand down to our grandchildren, a good quality of life. And this is not happening. I mean, take a look around you. It's in the worst shape. Why is it in the worst shape I've ever seen it? We shouldn't be recycling these issues at every meeting. This should have been resolved way before now. And the fact that it has not indicates either gross incompetence at the best or starker realities at the worst. And you're only prolonging the inevitable because we're not going anywhere until this is resolved. Lawfully, truthfully, and remedies of justice are served. And because of the snail's pace and resistance of any of the outcomes, we can only guess you don't want us to get to the source of this huge problem. And frankly, by now we're pissed. Our votes do count, and we're coming after anyone who gets in our way. And I call on Scott Nago to step down, and any complicit election officials, county officials, immediately. so we can get forward and expedite this process for the sake of the people and the future and the health of these islands. Mahalo.
Thank you.
The next testifier is Wallen Christian, followed by Tamara McKay.
Tamara McKay. Solid patriot. True American.
You need to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I just found the button. Good morning, ladies and
Thank
gentlemen.
you. Good morning, ma'am.
Sarah and commissioners. Excuse me. I am in total support of this pig decision. It's unfortunate that Commissioner Young did vacate his seat. I'm hoping that we find two replacements for those two seats, himself and Kuwota, that are for the people in actuality. Now going on to number 3. You've heard so many testimonies of the same thing, and that's the corruption, and that's the mistakes that has cost the people. 19,000 ballots is huge. Hell, 1 ballot is huge, because that can make a deciding factor in the voting. What I would ask the commissioners to do is to really take a look at your decision making, whatever your decision will be, and see if that's going to benefit the people or your position. And it should never be about your position. It should always be about the people. I stand up for the people a lot. And this Elections Commission's meeting is vital that you folks make the right decision. Mr. Noggle needs to be removed. I'm not even asking him to step down. He just needs to be outright removed. There is no opportunity for him to make a right decision because he's had many years to do it, and he's chosen not
Obviously
to do
compromised.
it. Anybody who was under his leadership that followed his direction, knowing it was incorrect, also needs to be removed. And it's really difficult for the people to trust in a system that's not only broken, but blatantly disregards the voice of the people. And I think that right now, you have an opportunity, those of you that are on this commission, you have an opportunity to make things right. I fully support Ralph Kushney and every other commissioner that stands for the rights of the people. Please do not make this about your job because you're not getting paid for it. But as it was stated before, you did take an oath.
Somebody getting paid
And that
for
oath is
something.
to stand up for the Constitution, both of the U.S. and Hawaii Constitution, but more importantly, to stand up for truth and for freedom. This voting system we have is supposed to be about our freedom, and it's not. We've been hijacked by those that are in position that would rather have a position of power, a position of power for themselves and for those that they work under rather than for the people. So I just ask that you guys make the right decision. Let's move forward from this because 2026 is right around the corner. We do need to correct the ballots as well. And I'm just going to throw this in real quick if you folks don't mind. Hawaii Constitution, Article 2, Section 4, and I've testified on this before, on the primary ballot. Please take out the party affiliation because that is against the law. And with that, I yield.
Against
Mahalo.
the state constitution.
The next testifier is Tamara McKay, followed by April Lee.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Aloha to Chair Curtis and commissioners and community members. I am Tamara McKay, it's pronounced McKay, and I am with the new Super PAC Aloha Conservative Alliance. As I mentioned, we are a new Super PAC for candidates and grassroots efforts to bring together communities with conservative values and educate them of their rights, participation, and protect our people in Keiki in the state of Hawaii and across the nation. I am testifying as a concerned citizen regarding the ongoing breakdowns in Hawaii's election administration. The foundation of lawful government rests in the transparent, accountable, and trustworthy elections, a foundation that has been severely compromised. Some of my testimony I'll leave out because I echo a lot of the testimony that has been previously submitted, including the last speaker. Because of the significant discrepancies that were found on ballot counts, especially in Kauai, and the exceeding numbers of 661 ballots, it is a clear violation of the chain of custody with insufficient signatures and verifications, and that has eroded the public trust. That is a message that we need, that we are sending to the leaders of the state of Hawaii, and this isn't a political effort, this is across party lines, as corruption lies within the system in all areas, and that is what we are trying to address and eliminate. I want this to state strong support for the permitted interaction group and the report that they had presented to the commission. The complaints regarding the chain of custody and discrepancies in the election results are valid. What we need to do is be solution oriented instead of falling back on the problem. And we need to start coming up with solutions instead of trying to make excuses for the problems. Part of the problems, as has been said on over and over and in many meetings that I have testified in and attended, is the resignation of Scott Nago.
Yep.
We feel there's ulterior motives that are going on here in for the power to control the outcome, and this needs to stop because it is the taxpayers that are voting, and they are expressing what they want in the leadership for the state of Hawaii, as well as leaders to represent the state of Hawaii in positions that represent us across the nation. Some of our representation is very embarrassing, and the majority of the citizens in the state of Hawaii they're not keen nor supportive of this type of representation. It's embarrassing. PIG recommendations include official audits and ballot in envelopes, a formal hearing, and rule changes to require daily published counts and explorations for any discrepancies going forward. Legal and we would like to see established legal grounds for removal. As already outlined, Hawaii law provides clear grounds for removal of elected officials for willful law violation of elected statutes, neglect of duty, or obstruction of official operations. These findings from PIG, especially the disregard for chain of custody, unexplained ballot increases, and noncompliance with administrative rules, qualify as removal grounds of HRS 19.3 and 414D 138.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate your time. Aloha.
All right, Andrew. I'm
Aloha.
gonna
The
good
next
job, Chairman
testifier is
McKay.
April Lee,
Okay.
followed by
Mackay.
Jared
I
Say
gotta
hi
Medeiros.
to the
hop into
police
this
chief
meeting.
for me.
Aloha, and thank you. And I
I will.
just want to
Aloha.
Aloha.
reiterate what Tamara just said, because absolutely, I think that we have a problem with our citizens don't even think that they mean anything, and therefore their own individual significance in controlling their fate is spiritually being affected. We had a presidential election. We were the lowest turnout in the nation. That's very upsetting to me. I've been a
We had
vet
a huge
registrar
turnout. I
until I
saw
got to
it with
this
my
state.
eyes.
They made it
It
so
was more than
difficult.
I'd seen in years.
And I get to this state and I see that all these things are going on and no
In
one's getting
person on the day
fired.
of.
There's nobody, and we've got a Hawaii judicial court. We've got a court stating there were falsified records submitted. That immediately should have activate a pig on every county, when especially when you add up all the other things that have been discovered. Why aren't we, and I hold you, the honorable volunteers, to now be the ones to stand up for us, because we don't have too many options. You are our lifeline. I praise and thank Ralph Kushney. I'm telling you, I think that, he is one of those leaders that doesn't care about his own personal power, his own money. It just does the right thing. And that's the thing that I'm inspired by, and why I wanted to get on this meeting, because I've already gone to several meetings trying to get rid of Scott Nogo, and he's still there. So I see a lot of commissioners. I can watch their faces on the screen, and I know they agree with me. But no one is pushing the power button. I tell you what, I don't think that we have an honest power structure right now. And I'm going to say what I feel. I think it's part governor down. It's invasive, because I have a couple representatives in my legislative district, and there you go. We have people saying we're going to do this, and they get and they vote in the legislature, and they vote with somebody else. More power. So I really agree also with Yumi that we absolutely have this underpinning of our justice system that is being compromised, and that we need this important election process to reinforce and re-inspire our citizens to get involved in government and give them the strength of their own internal feeling a significance. I think it's very important for Hawaiians when they've gone through what they've gone through and we can't get their justice. Let's give them at least justice in the system that they have to be forced into. I also want voting in person. I have seen so many times, and let me tell you, they went right into the court system in California and hacked the machine, sitting there in the courtroom. So, thank you very much for your time, and please be very, very aware that we are trusting in you. We have faith in you, and I hope that we can get something out of this that will be action oriented, not more meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lee.
The next testifier is Jarek Medeiros, followed by Alfred Cemento.
Aloha, can you hear me?
Aloha, Mr. Medeiros.
Aloha. Hey, so this whole thing that's going down. To that caller that is remaining anonymous from Kauai that's claiming there's no corruption. She's a plant trying to get into this next openings that they have here. I just jumped on not too long ago, so I don't know which commissioner stepped down, but I see some commissioners still on there. But I really think they should step down too. People like McAdams, McAdams. This cheating for the Democrats. I tell you guys right now, I really not about.
We're talking about item 3.
Hey, please never interrupt me, man. It's my 3 minutes. Don't tell me what I can talk about. All right? You part of the problem. In fact, you are the problem, Mike. Okay? Now, when the FBI comes down to this investigation, guess who's going to be up there in agreement to put you guys behind bars or penalize you guys to the max? Me. I'm going to be on this call waiting for you guys to be penalized, supporting the penalties. Because it's people like you, Mike, Scott, McAdams, Osterkamp. You guys are ripping off everybody's constitutional rights. And for that, you guys should spend your life in prison. What a disgrace, man. Just because of you guys, yeah? The Democratic Party shouldn't be able to freaking run in the next election because of you guys, because of the cheating that you guys are doing. Listen, we go back to 2020, yeah? Our county was never supposed to have one guy like freaking Mitch Roth to be our mayor. But it's because your guys' cheating ways, he became the mayor. And because of that, he handed over jurisdiction to the state of Hawaii. The problem here, guys, is the state of Hawaii. Okay? Since we got the upper hand, everybody who's listening to this testimony, we have the upper hand today. We need a motion to remove Scott Nago today. They do not have enough people there. Let's ask for that motion, get that scrub out of here. And next to follow, McAdams and Mike Curtis. All you 3 people right now, yeah? You guys should be scared, man. When you talk about FBI, corruption, and you guys' faces is right there. Listen, everybody on top of this meeting right now, we all for it, about to get rid of you guys. But I tell you guys right now, what needs to be done is the county should have its own election and the state should have its own election. Don't mix it up. County's jurisdiction is higher than the state of Hawaii's jurisdiction. And right now, the county is following the state when it should be the other way around. Understand, we shouldn't be following the state of Hawaii. It's an illegal government entity unlawfully asserting their laws in Hawaii.
Thank you, Mr. Medeiros.
Constitution is out, man. Bring back the Hawaii Constitution so you guys would not have a chance to stand what you guys are doing right now. I yield.
Thank you, Mr. Medeiros.
The next testifier is Alfred Cemento, followed by Tara Malia.
Aloha, Chair, and members of the Commission.
Malia. Yeah,
I want to thank you all for serving. I wish to speak on the agenda item briefly. We have a problem here in Hawaii at the elections. The number of votes that are up, that are changing constantly, the reasons for these discrepancies this whole thing needs to be addressed. Because our basic understanding of Hawaii's people for our representative democracy is at stake here. I'm not going to sit here and attack any individual at this point. I just merely ask you all to think about this. Hawaii has the lowest voter participation rate in this country. We used to, I'm 67, I've been volunteering for office of elections since at least 2000. I have been everything from VAO, to a poll watcher, and and I still open ballots today in the last election. My point is, if there's any indication of problems for simple addition and subtraction, we're not talking calculus, we're not talking major problems here. It needs to be addressed. It needs to be addressed as soon as possible. And we need to verify it. We need to encourage people to understand that we have free and fair elections here. I hope that you as commissioners will do what is right to make sure that our elections moving forward do not have an opportunity for fraud. Because unfortunately, when you have unexplained or various when you have various numbers being debated over the months about how many things are wrong, that looks bad to the people of Hawaii, and we owe them better than that. And I thank you for your time. God bless you all. Mahalo.
Thank you, Mr. Sarmiento.
The next testifier is Tara Malia, followed by D.R. Williams.
Hello, my kako, Tara Malia Gregory for HRP District 18, the chair, and also Mauna Lua and East Honolulu Regional Vice Chair. Thank you for the time to speak. I stand in full support of Tamara Mackay, Nolan Chang, and Wallen Christian's testimonies. I resonate everything that they said. And I just want to say thank you so much, Commissioner Ralph Cushney, for your diligence once again. I will acknowledge you every time because without your persistence, these records would still be hidden from the public. And you stood pretty much alone until the alarm went sound, and now here we are. I do want to be on record reminding this commission that accountability is not just acknowledgement or removal. Under HRS 11-155, election results cannot be certified until all counts are reconciled and any contest resolved. If certification does happen prematurely, those results can be overturned and officials may be investigated. And under HAR 3-177-453, every county clerk must maintain a complete and accurate chain of custody for every ballot. If logs are missing, falsified, or incomplete, the law is clear. An audit must be ordered and officials may face civil or criminal liability. In regards to Mr. Nago, he certified results with unaccounted ballots and broken chain of custody, and these actions appear to be in violation of both of these statutes here. I call on this commission not only to remove him from his position, but also to refer this matter to the Attorney General for investigation and prosecution to the full extent of the law. The people of Hawaii deserve to know that when laws are broken, consequences follow, and that their leaders are not exempt. I also want to refute any claims that were spoken of on this call that what we're seeing is human error. That's simple and small. Claiming hard work, unfortunately, is not a defense when it comes to numbers that do not reconcile. A 19,000 plus ballot discrepancy in one county is not logical or credible, and it's not acceptable. These are not clerical mistakes. They are systemic failures. 2 commissioners have now resigned, and this is critical. This moment doesn't erase this accountability. It makes it even more urgent. So the public cannot trust a system where responsibility disappears when pressure rises. And that's why I urge this body to establish a permitted interaction group for each county, like specified before by Ms. Detweiler. So every island is held to equal scrutiny. Also, issue subpoenas for full chain of custody documentation, order independent audits wherever the law requires it. We have to move away from mail-in ballots. They've created vulnerabilities and broken custody, confusion, and this commission's duty is not convenience, but integrity and public trust. And mahalo for the time to speak today.
Thank you, Ms. Malia.
Thank you. The next testifier is D.R. Williams, followed by Rebecca.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes. What is your full name?
Who's this? Let's see here.
Can't hear you now, though.
Williams James.
Thank you.
Dr. Williams. All right,
Lost
go
your
ahead,
audio.
Dr. Williams. Come on, bro.
You need to unmute yourself.
Sorry, it wasn't working. I just want to reiterate the point. Will the commissioner be backed by Israel and Zionist lobbies in America? Fuck you.
What? Okay. We got our first troll from Zimbabwe somewhere.
Thank you.
Shut him down, Mike Curtis. What?
The next testifier
What
is
was
Rebecca,
that?
followed by Doug Pasnick.
Rebecca, please state your name.
Aloha nui, my name is Rebecca Soon. Noho'au Maunalua. I'm born and raised in East Honolulu. Just mahalo for having us and for having this opportunity to listen to voters across Hawaii. Listening into this is difficult work that you all are doing as commissioners, and I just want to mahalo you all for it. You know, it's honestly a little shocking to hear some of these accusations, especially against members of the commission. And as far as it seems, largely unfounded and unsupported in facts or in evidence.
Oh, yeah?
You know, foundationally within our democracy, I know that I'm speaking to the choir here, that we rely upon free and fair elections. We want to make sure that as many people in our community have access to those elections, including those who may work multiple jobs, including those who maybe are not able to get in person. It's important that folks have the opportunity to be able to vote in ways that they can cast their vote no matter what time of day or night, and have access to our polls. You know, the election commission, and call them Mike for the background noise I have here, but you know, the election commission has a really key role in ensuring that our elections are fairly run for everyone. And I want to resonate with people who are expressing those concerns. Every single vote does count, but some of what I'm hearing sort of suggests that certain votes should not count. Certain votes should be thrown out of questions, or out of, again, there's sort of this general overarching accusation that's being made that it doesn't seem as well supported. I've read through the materials that were provided by the Permitted Interaction Group. It seems a little bit dangerous to me, to be honest, that some of the numbers that were thrown out by the Permitted Action Group were suggested when in fact the actual difference at the county level was only about 6 votes. Those 6 votes are incredibly important. Don't want to diminish the importance of those, but to suggest that it's in the hundreds, to have that coming out of the commission, honestly, that's really concerning. I look to the commission, and I think many voters look to the commission to make us feel confident in our elections. And so to hear some of the doubts being cast from the commission itself, without proof and without evidence, is really concerning. So I want to offer a voice of appreciation, first and foremost, because the work that you all are doing is extremely difficult and is extremely important. But second, want to offer sort of a voice that, you know, I think aligns with some of the folks here, but doesn't, and maybe perhaps in the net result. We need to feel confident as a community in our election results, and I think that I want to encourage the commission to have a high bar on the information that it puts out without documentation and proof. And I feel very confident in our election processes, and I want us to work towards those positively without unfounded accusation. Mahalo.
Thank you, Rebecca.
The next testifier is Doug Pasnick, followed by Keikilani Ho.
Doug, solid dude.
Mr.
Working with
Pasnick.
Aloha Freedom Coalition.
Aloha.
Aloha, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, thank you. 1 year ago, I rolled 5 file boxes into the Elections Commission meeting, and they were filled with documents that the public painstakingly gathered to understand how the 2022 election was certified without a reconciliation that was required by HRS 11155. In that audit, 44% of the votes cast reports, 60% of the recount documentation, and 100% of the manual audit ballot review logs were missing the required official observer certification. And the law is clear. Certification requires a comparison and reconciliation of all logs and records. When asked how this was done, there was silence by the commission. And that same day, the commission voted against advising the chief elections officer to certify the election in accordance with the law. I challenge anyone who says there's no documentation to go back on the record and look what the commission has done. How is it possible that the commission votes against the very law that they're sworn to uphold? And worse, and historically true, in 2022, Mr. Green was inaugurated before the election was certified, based on a signed certificate and an uncertified tabulation of votes before election certification. Now, a year later, the Permitted Interaction Group, which you authorize, has confirmed the concerns that have been raised for a very long time. Their report found no lawful chain of custody for ballots in Kauai, and not one record complied with HAR 177453. Ballots increased without explanation, and yet the chief elections officer certified the results anyway with no reconciliation. And that's not transparency, that's not integrity, that's malfeasance. And what has Mr. Nago said in response? Letter after letter, he tells you to trust the system, and he blames, quote, human error, or says that the counties can do it, quote, their own way. But there's no law that allows the counties to rewrite chain of custody requirements, and there's no law that allows missing records to be excused or rewritten after certification. Reportedly, 83% of the ballots in 2024 had no chain of custody records. That's over 400,000 ballots counted without documentation, and yet they were certified. So I ask, is the commission exist to uphold the public trust in elections? Then how can it justify overseeing the certification of results when the required records are missing or falsified? The people of Hawaii deserve better. And let's be honest, 2 commissioners resigning, perhaps unwilling to be complicit in what this commission now chooses to ignore. Chair Curtis, you've presided over votes against the law, you've ignored sworn evidence, and you've dismissed public testimony as, quote, baseless claims. This is all on the record, and I renew my call that you should resign. And to the remaining commissioners, if you cannot uphold the law you swore to defend, then step aside and let someone take your seat who still believes public office is a position of service and not status, because history is watching and the people are watching. This isn't about ballots. It's about whether the commission will remember for protecting the truth or burying it. Mahalo.
Thank you. Aloha.
Thank you, Doug.
The next testifier is Keikilani Ho, followed by
Keiki.
Lopez.
She was VJ Penn's campaign manager, also ran for office herself. She
Ms.
is
Ho?
a truth warrior.
Aloha.
Hi, my name is Kikilani Ho. I've been testifying on these meetings for the past 3 years, and today I just wanted to observe. But upon reviewing the current agenda item, it closely mirrors those from the previous meetings. And in fact, the past few agendas appear to be repetitive, merely echoing prior discussions without demonstrating any significant progress. And this pattern raises serious concerns about the effectiveness and purpose of these meetings. And to be clear, my criticism is not directed at the community members who continue to testify, but rather at the commission itself. If these meetings fail to result in meaningful, proactive solutions to these issues consistently raised by the public, we really have to ask, what is the purpose of these meetings? It seems that the commission listens, but there is little evidence of true comprehension or follow through. Meeting after meeting, we hear the same concerns. It's always the same, particularly regarding voter integrity. Yet there has been no clear, comprehensive plan of action to address any of it. And were these roles compensated, the commission? A lack of measurable progress would likely lead to serious accountability measures. And the fact that these positions are voluntary should not exempt the commission from delivering results. And as it stands, the commission resembles a panel of unpaid therapists, present to hear concerns, but offering no solutions to alleviate the problems. The issue of voter fraud has been a persistent and deeply rooted concern voiced by members of the community for many years. Despite changes in the composition of this commission, the same citizens continue to show up advocating for transparency and accountability. That consistency speaks volumes, and we are not going away, and we will not abandon the pursuit of justice for Hawaii. Therefore, I respectfully urge each commissioner to reflect seriously on your responsibilities. Either fulfill the duties you committed to with integrity and action, or consider stepping aside so that others willing to act with urgency and purpose can serve. I yield.
Thank you, Ms. Ho.
The next testifier is Lopez, followed by Jason B.
Please state your whole name, Mr. Lopez. Ms.
Okay, don't
Lopez,
worry,
you're
I
coming
got
in
those,
broken.
Mr. Roberto. Next up.
We can't understand you.
Fuck you.
That was...
Thank you, Mr. Lopez.
The next testifier is Jason B.
Aloha, Jason. If you could unmute yourself. Jason B.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Can't hear you. Please state your name.
Israeli. Zionist.
Thank you, Jason B.
The next testifier is Mary Healy.
Ms. Healy? Nita.
Hi, can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
I was having
Aloha.
a hard time unmuting. Hi, it's nice to see you all. A year ago today, I was on the meeting where we welcomed Doug Pasnick and Commissioner Osterkamp, and I'm sad to see him not be here, especially because we are finally getting some accountability for investigations that a year ago had never been done. A year ago, I watched you, Chair, sit there and defend Scott Nago while he was giving testimony. And, I just am very disappointed that we've had these commissioners step down. But, I'm also really filled with a lot of hope, and I have a lot of faith that we're going to have accountability for what's happening with the mail-in ballot system, how it's stealing the elections, how the people of Hawaii are having their voices suppressed. And, I just would like to read a quote from the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. She said recently, "There are so many areas we have started to shine a light on. It's important for the American people. They deserve to know the truth. And that transparency is what can be used to lead to actual accountability. That's how real change comes about." She's ripping the Band-Aid off and dismantling the election theft system, just like those of us who have been here asking for accountability are also engaging in that as well. And, we only have 346 days till the primary election and 403 until the midterms. And, at the end of the day, the most important thing is that this commission can hold Scott Nago accountable. That is what this commission is for. Find a new chief elections officer. There's multiple cases and evidence from when he started this job when he was 36 until now, especially with the universal mail-in ballot system. And I would just like to say also that anyone who commits election fraud in the United States of America will go to jail. And anyone who facilitates election fraud in the United States of America will go to jail. And that is my commitment as a young person moving forward from here on out. So I just want to say thank you for all the times you've all listened to my testimony. And I hope you all are prepared for the changes that will be coming to this nation. And thank you again for allowing this investigation to take place, because it was deeply, deeply needed. Hawaii is no longer going to be the 51st for elections. It'll be number one for election integrity. I promise you that. Have a nice day. Aloha.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Healy. Aloha.
The next testifier is Jose.
Jose, please unmute yourself and state your full name.
And goodbye, Jose.
We still can't hear you.
Maybe I shouldn't have posted the Zoom link on X.
Next
I think we
testifier.
got
Okay.
some gnarly people coming
Chair,
in.
we have the request to
Sorry,
provide
guys.
additional testimony.
My
Would you like to
bad.
proceed with these testifiers?
Yes, please.
Okay. The first testifier is McGaso William Dennis, followed by Jennifer Hunt.
Mr. William Dennis. You're still muted. You need to unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you.
There you go.
Yes, my name is McGaso William Dennis, and I just wanted to continue on with my testimony for the record regarding law. I support Ralph Kushner in his efforts to pursue truth and fair elections in Hawaii. As a reminder to those involved in election interference, these violations I read include the U.S. Constitution Fifth Amendment and the U.S. Constitution 14th Amendment regarding due process. I want to thank you for allowing me to express lawful opinions. As members of this commission and those who participated in the alleged offenses, that you ponder either to choose resignation or become a whistleblower after you lawyer up. Thank you for your attention to this matter of fair elections. Mahalo.
Thank you, Mr. William Dennis.
The next testifier is Jennifer Hunt.
Ms. Hunt.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to add to my testimony earlier about the HAR 3177 discrepancies. I did inquire about the chain of custody documents for Maui at the beginning of the counting in 2024 general election. And I kind of was gaslighted. I was ignored after the deputy clerk told me about the fact that they post those numbers on Instagram. So but they don't separate them from what's picked up at the post office. And again, I will reiterate, if they forgot to do this and they're like, oh no, we're not keeping chain of custody as required by law on these forms, they could have started then. So the fact that it was up to human error as a reason for not having these documents doesn't really it doesn't really compute, because that would not happen if someone was reminded that it was their job to keep these chain of custody documents and also provide them to the observers who ask for them. They shouldn't be under lock and key or classified. They should be open to the public to review them. So I just wanted to add that to my testimony, that none of this stuff is human error. It's all by design, and we're not stupid enough to think that it's human error. And I also would like to add one more thing. We are a republic. We're not a democracy, because a democracy needs a majority to do anything. We are a republic, which means each one of us is able to be the one person that their rights are not taken away because of a majority. So given that, people saying democracy have an agenda. We're a republic. Please remember that. Thank you.
Aloha.
The next testifier is Kira, followed by Shailene Faye.
Aloha, Kira. Unmute yourself and state your full name, please. Kira, you need to unmute yourself. There you go. Oh, you're muted again. Sorry, Kira, we can't hear you.
Okay. The next testifier is Shailene Faye, followed by Gary Cordery.
Shailene Fahey, please. Unmute yourself.
Hi,
Hi.
I'd like to thank Ralph Kushner for continuing his quest with the election committee. Bring back paper ballots to our local precincts any computer can be manipulated, which creates this fiasco that we're in right now. In 2024 elections, I was canvassing for one of the local candidates, and it's appalling to realize how many local Hawaiian people do not vote.
We're talking about item 3.
Yes. I'm sorry, I just want to say that need to bring the voting back to the local precincts with paper voter IDs, and that's the only way we're going to have accountability. And I agree with the previous caller. We are a republic, not a democracy, and we need to bring our republic back, especially to Hawaii. Thank you.
Who was that?
Thank you, Ms. Fahey.
The next testifier is Gary Cordery.
Gary Cordery, Aloha Freedom Coalition founder and a gubernatorial candidate
morning.
in 2022.
Good morning, Aloha.
Republican against
Aloha
BJ
Chair,
Penn.
Aloha Council, Commission.
Kayana.
There's been so many very articulate testimonies on this call, all pointing to the same underlying facts, that there's just issues with the entire voting system in Hawaii. Why is this so vital? Why is the commission's role so vital? In the past election, there's been candidates who should be seated that are not seated because of inaccurate vote count. I don't believe this is up for discussion. I think this is obvious at this point. The question is how to reseat them through the PIG. I fully support the PIG. I support Ralph. But moving forward, there's an election next year. The people's voices must be heard. I believe Scott Nagu declared that voting by mail will increase voter turnout and drive the cost of voting down, both of which have proved been false. We have the lowest turnout ever and the highest cost of elections. So the very purpose for doing mail-in voting has been found inaccurate and false. I believe this commission and the commissioners that stepped down prior to this meeting it also reflects the fact that the pressure coming from the people's voices is mounting. And it's beyond me that this commission does not recommend going back to a single day paper ballot. Now, President Trump has issued an EO that the federal elections will be completed by paper ballots. What is this commission going to do? What is this recommendation going to be? Can the commission in this state and Scott Nago as chief election officers, can they actually humble themselves? Can you actually humble yourself and say what I've suggested and what I've implemented is not functioning, it is not working, it is not serving the people? Is there enough humility in you to say, let's just pause what we're doing. Let's go back to a paper ballot, an in-person one-day voting procedure. It's not hard to resurrect. It's not that long ago. My request as a citizen and a candidate for election integrity, for the opportunity for inclusion for all of the people, not to have to worry about whether the vote is being manipulated by technology. I don't think there's a single person in this state, other than a couple of callers, that believe it's actually accurate. So we just do the right thing. I'm not going to go down the road of the details. Everybody knows the details. Do the right thing.
Thank you, Mr. Cordery.
The next testifier is Sarah, followed by Gilliam.
Sarah, please state your name and unmute yourself. Not in that order. Sarah, unmute yourself and state your full name, please. Sorry, sir, I can't hear you.
The next testifier is Gilliam, followed by Fred.
Aloha, Gilliam. Please unmute yourself and state your full name. Gilliam, unmute yourself. Sorry, we can't hear you.
The next testifier is Fred, followed by Jennifer Coblon.
Fred, unmute your Samsung and state your full name, please. Fred, unmute yourself, please. Sorry, can't hear you.
Stop speaking over us. I will tell you this again. Do not be doing this. If you want to be commissioner. Yeah, that's right.
Next, please.
The next testifier is Jennifer Coblon, followed by Margie Merriman.
Hi there.
Jennifer, please unmute yourself and state your full name. Jen, I see you. There you go.
Hello.
Aloha.
Aloha. My name is Jennifer Caban. I've been testifying for since 2021 on these meetings, and I would just like to make a suggestion that these Commissioner Young's pig investigation will be forwarded to, and all future investigation documentation will be forwarded to current legislators so they can catch up on these findings. I believe that many of our legislators are unaware of the details of our election system and they don't have time to sit in on all of these meetings. But I would like them to be informed because they are the ones making the laws. And I think some of them might have a change of heart when voting on issues and bills regarding mail-in ballots and so forth. So please consider having these things distributed to them so they don't have to go out and find the information themselves. I yield.
Thank you, Jen.
The next testifier is Margie Merriman.
Margie, unmute yourself, please. Ms. Merriman, we cannot hear you.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Okay, sorry for this. I'm new. This is my first meeting I'm attending. I've heard and I've read about what is happening. I went to learn how to participate in the election process because I wanted to understand how Hawaii did things. And this is when people used to walk in and vote. And I asked a million questions because then they thought, what is this? What is with this woman? But I really wanted to understand the process. And I left assured that I felt confident in the voting process that my county goes by. And then I worked a precinct and I watched us work and we followed the rules. And then I have friends who were observers and I had friends who also worked. And they explained to me just how careful they are about everything and how they felt confident in how the ballots were handled. And they felt like this thing that's happening is more of a movement of people trying to instill fear and distrust into this election process. Now, I agree everything should be done appropriately. And I know there was a lawsuit by Mr. Cushney twice and he lost. And so I'm like, why are they still talking about this if this is what you're talking about, trying to infer there's a problem when it was found that there wasn't? And then I listened to a caller give a testimony about that we're not a democracy and that we're a republic. So I looked it up, and a republic is a system where the people hold power but exercise it through elected representatives rather than directly voting on every issue. The US Constitution explicitly guarantees each state a republican form of government. And what democracy means, a democracy broadly means rule by the people. There are different types. Direct democracy, every citizen votes on every law. And then representative democracy is citizens elect officials to make decisions on their behalf. And the United States is both. We're a constitutional republic and a representative democracy. So we have elections, majority rule in many cases, but with constitutional protections like the Bill of Rights that safeguard individuals and minorities from being trampled by majority power. So sometimes when people use, like we're a Republican,
We are talking about item 3.
Yeah, okay. So anyhow, I just want to get back to that. I think that the issue of the discrepancies in the ballot count, they could improve procedures for how you go about handling it to make sure like this never comes in question again. And I guess that's just it. I wanted to say that I actually have confidence in our elections, and I think that when we had the mail-in ballots, more people were able to vote. And is there room for improvement? There's always room for improvement. And I think we just all work together to make sure we have the best outcome for our election process. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair, we want to acknowledge Commissioner Papalimou has joined the meeting. And we again have repeat testifiers. Would you like to proceed with them?
If they're willing to talk about new items on item 3, please.
All right. The first testifier is Wallen Christian, followed by Mary Healy.
Good morning again. Thank you. It's just going to be really, really quick. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. You hear everybody congratulating and thanking Ralph Cushney, which I too do. I went to Kauai to support him in his court case. But I do want to just say a quick thank you for those commissioners that are not being mentioned, that are doing right by the people. I know we will not always be happy with a vote that you may do, but when we can see your heart and you are actually fighting for the people, I just want to say personally thank you to those of you that are doing the fight. I yield.
Thank you.
The next testifier is Mary Healy, followed by Austin Martin.
Morning, Ms. Healy.
Hi. Thank you again for hearing my testimony again. I really appreciate the time. And, just to reiterate with the findings and the discrepancies in the ballots, the reason why the mail-in ballot system is not working, and it doesn't work, and that's why so many countries throughout the world don't use it, is because of the ability to have fraud conducted in the system. And that's why either the ballot system is completely thrown away, which is what I believe needs to happen for the state of Hawaii. And I just want to say thank you to Ralph Cushney and the other commissioners like Wallen Christian. I'm super grateful for all of you who have stood up. And, like I said, I was on the meeting a year ago when we welcomed Commissioner Young and also Commissioner Osterkamp. And I also, was there when you yourself, Chair, apologized for telling Ralph Cushney to shut up. And I don't want to be reiterating, the same points, but I will say that if the ballots are watermarked and they're paper ballots and, there's a signature on it, you have a way better understanding of if people are committing voter fraud in the state of Hawaii. And, there's so many corruption problems in the state of Hawaii systemically through history, K-Aloha's. We could get into it if we really want to. But, once is happenstance and twice is coincidence and thrice is enemy action. And what I'm saying is that there is definitely a systemic problem in the election system. On the call a year ago, a speaker came up and I think her name was Rosemary Johnson or something like that. And she was talking about how there could be CCP members working inside the election office with Scott Naga. That's never been addressed. And I will say that I'm not unlearned to the situation that we're facing as a country with infiltration throughout.
We are on item 3.
I'm just saying, believe me, Chair, believe me. I'm just saying that when we're looking at these issues, and we're looking at the mail-in ballots, people are misinformed a little bit on the potential for how the fraud is conducted. And that's why this pig needed to happen. That's why these investigations needed to happen. That's why there were 0 investigations. And then the public came forward and said, we need to have investigations. And that's why I'm here giving my time for over a year, speaking to you and, engaging in the process, because the state of Hawaii is worth fighting for. The nation's worth fighting for. So thank you so much for hearing my testimony, and mahalo.
Aloha.
The next testifier is Austin Martin, followed by Glenda Nogami Schufert.
Can we just keep testifying?
Aloha. Thanks for hearing me again. I thought I would just share something with you guys that's germane to this issue in addition to what I said earlier. Not only am I the Libertarian Party Hawaii chairman, I also, not long ago, was elected to direct the National Libertarian Party as a member of the LNC. And I want you guys to know that we're very interested in this. When states violate the law to suppress our candidates, it's a problem. I was also a candidate in 2024. 19,000 overages. I mean, let's get real. Like, that's past the win number of most of Hawaii County. So when I ask for the statewide voter list, there's a good reason why, because I can see that there's a disparity, and there's no other way to get that than by asking our government officials. And when they point blank refuse to comply with the law, that is actually a criminal act. And you guys have the evidence before you on that. If you need me to send it again, I'd be happy to. But the non-action on that would be a violation of your own fiduciary duty and could open you up to liability. And if corporate counsel isn't telling you this, you should ask them why. Because you shouldn't get set up. Yeah, this is about item 3. Are you kidding me? We're talking about overages in Maui. I'm talking about overages that are systemic. And this is why the actions to hold this accountable, the actions to investigate and get the facts are absolutely necessary. They are your fiduciary duty, sir. And so I think that's incredibly germane to the discussion. Do you disagree?
This is specific to the county of Kauai.
And your fiduciary duty to investigate this. And I'm using other matters that are directly related. We need to know more. I'm asking you guys to do the right thing here. I'm also letting you guys know that we're very interested and we're very upset about the way that non-democratic participants are being treated. I'm a third party. We're a third party. We don't have the same institutional entrenchment. We don't have the same representation. Our values are extremely popular, but our people feel like they don't have a voice in all this process. And this is part of the reason why. If you default on your fiduciary duty to do the right thing on this matter, then it's going to result in very bad things. And I'm trying to seriously warn you that a lot of us who would not don't have any personal animosity towards you guys, want to see the right thing done. And we are under a fiduciary duty to make sure that that happens. And so I really just encourage you guys to take this very seriously, and please stop hand waving. Just because some crazy people show up and say things doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean it's not true. It means that we have to do our due diligence. And that is what I'm asking this committee to do. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Mr. Martin.
The next testifier is Glenda Nogami Schufert, followed by Jarek.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Glenda Nagami Stroifert, and I was an official observer for both the primary and the general election in 2024. And I was in the room, the tabulation room, for the entire time that the votes were counted, was aware and within this room when the entire thing came, from the time that the ballots arrived to the time that they were sorted, not sorted, they were first opened up, the envelopes were opened up, they were sorted, and then they were given to people to really take the ballots out of the envelopes, put them into stacks to be read by the machine, and then after that taken out. Ralph Cushney was also there at that time, and so he saw all of this process, and I do not believe that he will say that there was any time when there was any kind of falsification of the data, or that any ballots were lost, or that ballots were found when they were not. Every ballot that came in was counted. Yeah, I find this really interesting that people who are talking about this may not have been in the rooms when these things were done. So they really have no first line experience with this, at least for the 2024 election. And I cannot speak for either anything before that or any place that was not within the tabulation room. But within that tabulation room, there was nothing that was going on that was not appropriate. All of the chain of custody documents were signed. There had to be 2 signatures on every one of those documents. I remember signing them. I remember other people signing them. And I cannot imagine that anyone who was in that room would say that there was anything that was wrong in terms of either chain of custody or any kind of falsification of data. There was none. So to state that something like that might have happened within the county of Kauai, I think is inappropriate and is an insult to everyone who was there who was doing that. And
Thank
I know
you. You've mentioned that previously.
Yes, and I know that Ralph Cushney was there too, and he saw what was going on, and there was nothing that he was objecting to during that entire time. Whether we're a republic or a democracy, every vote counts, and we all took that very seriously.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The next testifier is KDC, followed by A. Raza.
KDC. Unmute, please. Thank you.
The next testifier is A. Raza, followed by Commissioner Cushney.
Hey, Raza. Unmute, please. And this is time for public testimony, Ralph. We'll get to you later. Is that all, Madam Secretary?
The next testifier is Jarek.
Jarek, please unmute. Sorry, Jarek, can't hear you.
Yeah.
There you go.
With all due respect, everybody, man, let's get this show on the road. All these guys that like retestify, man, let's go. Let's give Ralph Cushney that opportunity to give that motion, man. Let's do it.
Thank you, Mr. Medeiros.
Let's go. Get ready. Let's go. Come on.
The next testifier is James Gash.
Mr. Gash, unmute, please. Hey, aloha. Sorry, can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Got you now, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. James Gashel here. Let me just introduce myself very quickly by saying I'm Vice Chair of the Statewide Election Accessibility Advisory Committee. We're appointed by the governor and confirmed by the Senate. There are 5 members on this committee. I've listened to everyone's testimony at this meeting today. And the one word I haven't heard any of the advocates for changing the system say is the word accessible or accessibility. Now, they have said that Hawaii ranks 51st among the states in our election integrity. I don't know where they get this statistic, but I will tell you one thing. We rank within the top 10 and probably within the top 1 or 2 as far as accessibility is concerned. Our elections in Hawaii are maximally accessible to individuals with disabilities. Now, the advocates do want a system of paper ballots, presumably with people sitting down and marking the paper with pencils, no computers allowed. And that is the least accessible system. Federal law requires accessible voting. People with disabilities have the right to vote privately and independently. So the solution, if you're going to force me to sit down with a piece of paper and a pencil, I can't vote that way. independently because I can't see the paper to mark the ballot to vote the way you
can't
want
wear
me to vote.
glasses, James.
So, whatever
Gashel?
you do at the next meeting, let's hear the word accessible. Thank you.
Thank you,
Dude,
sir.
you're a
And that ends
plant,
public
bro.
testimony. I'd like to turn the floor over to Lindsay Cam to give us a synopsis of her pig report. Lindsay Cam, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. This is a synopsis of the pig report that was received at the last meeting, the meeting on July 30th. The pig that was formed in March to investigate complaints about chain of custody and election result discrepancies on Kauai presented its findings at the July 30th meeting of the Elections Commission. The pig was chaired by Commissioner Peter Young and included Commissioner Anita Aquino, both of whom have resigned. In summary, the pig determined that the complaints were valid, that the county officials were not in compliance with the law, and that the final count of mail ballots was not verifiable. 5 days ago, on August 22nd, we received a response from the Office of Elections and Kauai County Elections Division refuting our findings. That response was included in this meeting's materials and consists of 27 pages of text and 1,900 pages of supporting documents. In the conclusion on page 26, the Office of Elections said, quote, it could not replicate the discrepancy of 661 ballots, and noted that, quote, the pig may not have accounted for electronic ballots or considered other factors. I'd like to take a moment to explain how we arrived at the discrepancy of 661 ballots. And I draw your attention to the chart on page 2 in the Elections Office response. Also, I have a chart to share, and I believe Raymond is going to put that up, that is based on that chart on page 2. Here it goes. Okay. They were side by side before, but I think you can make sense out of it. This is the chart that is part of the Office of Elections response. It's on page 2. It shows up elsewhere in their report as well. The column on the right are their numbers that are included in that response. The column in the middle, it shows the numbers that the pig used based on the materials that were given to us in response to our inquiries on May 30th. So that's where the numbers came from. We did not make them up. We got them from the material that they sent us. The county has since modified its reports, resulting in new totals that match the state's final count of mail ballots, which itself has been revised. The different numbers are the ones that are highlighted on the right. Those are new numbers from the same people. They gave us different numbers on May 30th. They gave us those numbers highlighted in yellow on August 22nd. Specifically, the number of ballot envelopes collected from place of deposit in the first line was changed from 8,491 to 8,391. This correction is explained on page 12, but was not included in any of the correspondence that we had with them in April, May, June, or July. They could have explained it, but they didn't. In addition, the number of ballot envelopes collected from USPS in line 3 was changed from 17,563 to 18,149. The discrepancy is acknowledged on page page 12 of their response. And the official admits that, quote, the form initially reflected no entry for that day. Then 3,004 ballots was entered after the fact with no date or initial, and, quote, it may have been a number closer to 3,421 that should have been entered. None of those convolutions were addressed in any of the former communications with the pig. Even now, this sloppy record keeping that does not inspire confidence. The pig did not count the 151 electronic ballots, which is rightly pointed out in their response, because we did not know that they were considered mail ballots. That also was not explained until now.
Hey, Mike, I see you.
Finally, the quote, official SVRS record of the mail-in ballots on Kauai was changed in this report from 27,075 to 27,057. No explanation was given. The resulting discrepancy in this report from the Office of Elections is -6. The PIG's revised discrepancy, taking into account the 151 electronic ballots that are counted as mail ballots, is now 510. The point is that none of this massaging of numbers after the fact should be necessary, much less tolerated. Although the Office of Elections continues to insist that the computerized state voter registration system, SVRS, is the, quote, official system of record to track the receipt of ballots, and no other reports matter, we insist that there should be a paper trail that matches the electronic records. The PIG made a number of recommendations that fall into two categories: accountability for the results of the 2024 general election and modifications to election protocols in the future. At this time, I would like to make the following motion. I move that an independent accounting firm be hired to conduct an audit of the ballot envelopes collected on Kauai in the 2024 general election. The auditors will inspect and count the ballot envelopes and compare the signatures on the envelopes to the signatures of record. The auditors will also determine how many of the envelopes were collected via drop boxes and how many via the post office. If I can explain the rationale behind the motion, it is that examining the envelopes will yield much more information. Okay.
I'll second the motion. This is Commissioner Andrew.
Thank you, Mr. Andrew. Go ahead, Lindsay.
Can I explain the rationale? Okay. That the ballot envelopes will yield much more useful information than counting the ballots. The ballots don't reveal how the ballot was collected, whether it was in person via Dropbox or via the post office. And the number of in-person ballots is not in question. The ballot envelopes can be separated based on whether they were collected via Dropbox or they have a postmark and came through the post office, and counted accordingly, which will reveal the sources of discrepancies, if any. So that's the reason for
commissioners for discussion. Please raise your hand.
Yes, Chair.
Yes, Ralph.
I support this motion. And I'd like to, in kind of a response to Glenda, I would submit to you that Claire McAdam and Mr. Osterkamp do not have the records. And I've asked you personally and the Office of Elections to post the records so that everyone can see. Now, we want to look at the records that the county gave us. The county gave us collection records. They gave them to me on the 21st. They showed 23,000 ballots collected, and the state reported 27,000 ballots corrected. Now, they changed and altered and falsified those records to the state Supreme Court a month after those records were completed and 9 days after the election was certified. Claire McAdam and Mr. Osterkamp have not seen those records and don't know what we're talking about because you won't share them out. The public doesn't know about those records because you won't share them out. We're asking for an independent audit of an accounting firm, and this could be the best thing because if everything is squared away, you would encourage an audit to show that. And to vote against this is hiding the fraud. So I encourage the rest of the commissioners to vote for this because this will clarify everything. This will, if an independent accounting firm does this, then this will just put this to rest. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Papalimo, you had your hand up. Unmute, please.
I did have my hand up earlier, but I understood you were accepting public. So I want to address two things. I support this audit. I am concerned because our pig still has not made a report from the island of Hawaii, and that's a 19,000 vote discrepancy. Kauai is
we're talking about the motion on the floor.
I am. I'm saying why I'm in support of the motion on the floor. But I'd also like to, just in this instance, there was a gentleman who was talking about accessibility. Coming from an island.
This motion doesn't involve accessibility. It's a motion on the floor about Kauai's pig.
Right, but you wouldn't call me during public thing when I could have addressed it. My hand was up then.
We're talking about the motion on the floor, please.
So when can I address that? Because my hand was up during that, and you did not call me.
That's correct.
So when can I address that as a commissioner? Address accessibility.
Accessibility when it comes on the agenda. Mr. Osterkamp.
Yeah, so first point of order, I don't see the motion on the agenda. And I see a vague reference to decision making, but I would object that the motion is not proper at this time, especially given what we're talking about, spending a lot of money. I don't know whose money that even would be on an accounting firm, and further seeding mistrust among the public, which apparently is, it's been a long running theme that has some very negative implications to it. It's based on a report that has been rebutted by the Office of Elections, and yet that rebuttal seems to have been almost completely disregarded here today by the members of the PIG. So, you know, I think that we're just going to be digging the hole deeper, creating a lot of problems for ourselves if we A, vote on a motion that's not on the agenda, and B, vote on a motion that's just going to sow more distrust of the system.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Yes, Chair.
Yes, Ralph.
Yeah, we never put motions on the agenda. The agenda is the topic and the motions come from the commissioners. So, and I just want to say that, again, this is a well-crafted way to avoid investigation. You are voting to conspire and hide the fraud. What is wrong with opening up the records and having an independent firm do this so the public can see? This is the only thing that's going to eliminate the trust issues with this. So I hope the rest of the commissioners can vote for this, because this is the only way the public is going to trust anything we do. Hiding the records from them is not going to work, and you're asking for serious issues. Thank you.
Can I address that?
Yes, please.
So, again, it's just very problematic when we have a commissioner telling us that there is fraud, that he alone has decided there is fraud, without knowing that that's the case.
The motion on the floor is for an audit of the
Right, but he's already decided before the audit that the audit is going to determine that there is fraud. And if it doesn't, we're going to be hearing that they're in on it too. The accounting firm is going to be in on it too. This is a problem when we're encouraging this kind of behavior.
Mr. Andrion.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to say I support the motion on the floor. I think framing this as how Mr. Osterkamp put it is not proper, is sad, maybe desperate would be a better word for it. I think an audit is something that a nonpartisan body can agree on, would encourage transparency, which is what the public has asked for. So I don't know how we can frame this as something that's out of order. In my experience on other boards and commissions where pigs meet on that second meeting, deliberation happens and decision-making happens. So I came here to make decisions and take action today. I sure hope that the rest of the commissioners would do exactly that. We haven't heard from, but we're not out of order in this is all I'm trying to say. I think we should all vote for the audit to take place.
Thank you. Lindsay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's just fact-finding. And I'm not saying that anybody is committing fraud. Actually, pig number one that I am the sole representative of right now. There's no accusation of that. We just want a paper trail that makes sense. And the fact that they keep saying, trust us, it all makes sense, it's in the computer, we've got it. It's okay to challenge that. It really is okay to challenge that because we can't get at their computer. And the ballots are handled and counted and moved and stored many times before they go into the computer, before they're scanned. And they're not keeping good records. If they kept good records that added up and made sense, I would have no problem. I would be fine and dandy with it. But there's no records and they act like they're not accountable to anybody but themselves.
Thank you. Ralph?
Yes, Chair. Thank you. So I would like to ask, has all the commissioners, have they seen the chain of custody documentation provided by the county that was given to me on the 21st of November? Has all the commissioners seen the chain of custody documentation that was submitted as Exhibit A in the state Supreme Court case? Have all the commissioners seen the business reply mail receipts for that? And these are the things that I'm basing what I'm talking about on. And if you haven't seen these, and if you haven't seen the discrepancy, then I would think that you would like somebody to look into that. And I've been trying to get this stuff to the rest of the commissioners, and it's being withheld from you. So I don't know how to do that, except to make a motion to have an independent accounting firm. And I would hope that the chair would have this documentation posted online so that the public can see it for themselves, and post online the other evidence on the other islands that you're supposed to investigate. And then the public can see for itself. But we're hiding everything. And to vote no on an investigation is to hide it further. Thank you.
They've all been attached to the meeting minutes or the meeting package previously. Mr. Osterkamp.
You have not, Chair. You have not submitted those.
Yeah, so first off, I would like to thank Commissioner Cam for the time and effort that she has put into this. And I would certainly agree, just to clarify, that she in no way, I've not heard her say in any way that this is the result of fraud.
Are they trying to set
Commissioner
up
Cushney, however, has said that numerous times. It's dangerous, it's bad for our system, it's destructive. It should end right now.
Yeah, they are.
Thank you. Lindsay, you still had your hand up?
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Jeff, you still had your hand up?
Yeah, just one other point. as has been mentioned, including by Commissioner Kushner, the state Supreme Court ruled on his allegations some time ago. It ruled against him. And the response to that has been that, oh, there's new evidence that proves that he's actually correct. We're treading on ground that the Supreme Court already looked at. Now, I'm sure there are all kinds of very detailed rebuttals that can be made in terms of, well, they didn't consider this, they didn't consider that. But, again, we have to really think about what we're doing here and whether it makes sense.
Thank you. Ralph.
Yes, Chair, I'd like to address that. The County of Kauai falsified and revised the exhibits that they had given to me to the Supreme Court. And I can show without a doubt that the entries that they made on October 22nd for 3,004 envelopes was not backed by the mail receipts. They over-reported that by 750 on that one entry alone. And then on November 5th, they made an entry that added another 330 to the mail ballots. The receipts don't show that. And then what Lindsay Cam just said, on the entry for the Honolulu Neighborhood Center, they added 100. So they added over 1,200 ballots to their numbers that already lacked 661 to the state Supreme Court. Now, the court did not address that issue. They would not look at that issue. And we would like an auditor to take a look at it. And what is the harm in taking a look? Did they falsify the evidence that they sent to court or not? And that should be clearly in their records. And we will be able to look at the business reply mail receipts, and we will be able to count the mail ballots that came in the mail, and we will be able to tell. And if those records were not correct and they actually received the envelopes that they said they do, I will be the first to apologize for this. And I will do it in front of everybody, in front of the public, and say I was mistaken, or the records that were given to me were not correct. But right now, we don't know those answers, and we're asking to look at that and not just bury it right now. The public has been asking.
Lindsay, did you have your hand up?
Yes, I do. And I want to encourage everyone to read the response from the Office of Elections that's attached to this meeting materials, because in there they say in several different places, yeah, the numbers don't really match up. Yeah, somebody forgot to write it down that day. Yes, the post office receipts don't match what we wrote down, but we found some more the following day and we added them to the day before. And they have changed the numbers that they have given us over and over and over again. I'm talking about us, pig number one. And in that report that was attached to these meeting materials, he says that over and over. He says the envelope count that was delivered to the counting center, yeah, it's not quite right. There's so many things that he admits and that he says people got it wrong. The numbers aren't exactly right, but trust us, it all matches up inside the computer. Well, I think we should check it out.
Ralph.
Yes, thank you, Chair. So in the report, Scott Nago referred to the vagaries of the USPS system. Now look up that word, what vagaries means. He used it in his report. Then added that all non-election BRM receipts to the county records. So Lyndon Yoshioka wrote us a letter saying you can't add all the BRM receipts together because they include all mail pieces. And then Scott Nago said, no, you need to add all the pieces in. And then on their reports, they have noted over 1,000 envelopes were delivered by the post office that were mail return undeliverable. We still don't have an answer to all those questions. Those are all the things we want to find out. And it is not clear what's happening. So again, I vote I wish that everybody would vote for this. The public would really welcome that for a change. And we'll have much shorter testimonies if we start approving some real investigations. Thank you.
Thanks, Ralph. Scott Nago, would you have any input? Oh, I'm sorry, Claire.
Thank you. Sorry. I'd like to say that when we talk about what would be the harm of hiring an auditor, I think that would be a cost to the Hawaii state taxpayers in excess of at least $100,000. It's a huge undertaking, and I'm fairly familiar with accounting firm fees in that respect.
We can't be
So
spending money on
it
clarity
seems to be
and
that
integrity. Now, can
this would be sort of following the personal crusade of Ralph Kushney after his
crusade? Yeah, they're
Supreme Court action was thrown out, and I'm not really sure that that's a wise spending of
What are you
taxpayers'
saying, Mike?
money
We
at
got
this
Mike
time.
yelling on the call.
I've read the
from Big
report,
Island.
thank you, from the Office of Elections that was posted with the minutes of this meeting, and I think one of the things that they do reiterate in there is that the forms that are mentioned, they state that these forms are used for collection purposes so that we can verify how much is coming in, so that we can look at things like how many employee hours we need. So there's already disclaimers in there, and all this was perfectly sort of set out and explained in the Supreme Court action. And there are discrepancies. There's a small discrepancy the Office of Election has acknowledged, and it's not a perfect system. And I think it would be better spending perhaps of taxpayers' money to look at how we can improve our rules, how we can look at what we have right now within the statutes, and perhaps put something in there that's clearer, more concise, and easier for counties and the Office of Elections to follow, so that it's standardized across the state. I don't think spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on an audit for Kauai right now is a really good using of the money. I will not vote in favor of this motion.
Thank you, Claire.
What do you think, Mike?
Scott Nago, do you have any input for us?
Scott Nago, is he even in the meeting?
Yeah.
Chair, this is our motion, our deliberation. That is out of order.
Okay.
Mike's got to look to his superior.
Who's going to pay for this? If 5 people vote for this, who's going to spend the 6-figure amount that is necessary to do this audit?
The people would love
We
to
may have to ask the ledge.
I'm sure.
I'm not sure.
Yes, they would.
Lindsay?
Yeah, I don't know the
people
answer to
will
that,
gladly
and I
pay
don't know
for
that
an
it's
audit.
our job to figure that out. But I do want to say that one thing the Supreme Court said was that the Elections Commission has a vehicle for investigating, and that they're leaving it in our hands. So something along those lines. And so I think we should take them up on it and put it to bed. I mean, let's be done with this. I would be delighted to find out that everything added up, and their only problem is that they're terrible record keepers. And then we could make new rules that say you have to fill out these paper forms and the paper trail has to match the electronic record, and that would be great. But there's so many inconsistencies and deficiencies and discrepancies that it really needs to be addressed.
Now, I'll reiterate what I first mentioned, is that the County of Kauai was to be an experimental first step in mail-in voting. And I think this is really the first step of analyzing that Kauai behavior that may be, again, cookie cuttered across the state that'll help everybody run effective, efficient, accurate elections and generate accurate reports. Any other comments before we put this to a vote? I would ask for a roll call vote on the motion to audit the Kauai election as per the page stated.
Okay. Commissioner Andrew?
Yes.
Commissioner Kushney?
Yes.
Commissioner Kim?
Yes.
Commissioner McAdam?
That was a no? You're
That was a
muted.
no.
Okay, thank you.
British lady
Commissioner
doesn't
Osterkamp?
want
No.
election integrity.
Commissioner
Osterkamp
Papalimu?
does not want
Yes.
Chair Curtis.
Yes. We'll move on to item 4.
Motion passes.
Okay, so Curtis
Receiving
just
the-
voted yes.
No, Chair, there's more, we can make more motions on this agenda topic, please.
Woo! This
I'm
is
moving
a
on to item
boring
4.
meeting.
Chair,
Every
I'd like to
meeting
make
they do
another
is so
motion.
boring.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
I move to subpoena the after-hour entry and exit logs for the secure storage area holding the ballots from April of 2024 to present. Do I have a second?
Stop hurting the donkey.
Is there
I'll
a
second the
second?
motion. This is Commissioner Andrian.
Andrian. Could you please, can the secretary reread the motion that you heard?
I'm sorry, Commissioner Cushney, could you please repeat the motion slowly for my
Yes.
records?
I move to subpoena
Who's our
the
secretary?
after-hour entry and exit logs for the secure storage area holding the ballots from April
It
of
just says
2024
secretary.
to present.
And this is for Kauai.
This is the same storage area that holds all the ballots. I want to see the after-hour entry and exit logs into that storage facility.
For every county or Kauai?
It's the same for everyone. They're all in the same room. You have to swipe your badge to get into the room where all the ballots are stored.
Okay, and there was a second. Discussion.
Yes, Chair.
Yes, Ralph.
After the District 37 or during the District 37 audit, I had a lot of questions that went unanswered. And it was obvious to me that they did not want me to understand or see what they were doing prior to the audit being conducted. The ballots for that audit were disturbed prior to the audit. And I asked for two things. I asked for the last two purchase orders of the tamper-proof seals that were made by the Office of Elections. And I can order tamper-proof seals that are duplicates. So I asked for that and I was denied. And then I also asked the Office of Elections to provide, and I did this through a UIPA, the after-hour entry logs into the storage facility. So I wanted to know who's going in after hours, and they will not provide that. Now, there's no reason, the whole reason for having to swipe your badge in there is to see who's going in and out of there. And I'm not concerned about it during regular work hours. I want to know who's going into the storage facility after the regular work hours. And that should be a simple ask. So I ask that we say yes to this motion.
Other discussion? I would ask for a roll call vote.
Okay. Commissioner Cushney?
Yes.
Commissioner Andrian first.
Yes.
Commissioner Cushney?
Yes.
Commissioner Cam?
Yes.
Commissioner Maggetto?
This is absurd. No.
Commissioner Osterkamp?
No.
Commissioner Papalimu?
Yes.
Chair Curtis?
No. Now can we move on
Motion
to
does
the
not
next agenda
pass.
item? We got a 4-3 vote on that. That should pass.
Yes.
Takes 5 to pass a motion.
We only have 7 commissioners.
We have a body of 9.
No, we don't. We have 7. The 2 have resigned.
2 are vacant.
2
We
have
have a body of
resigned.
9. It takes 5 to pass a motion.
We have a
The
majority.
Attorney General advised me that we have a body of 9. All our 2 are vacant. Takes 5 to pass a motion. We'll move on to the next agenda item.
Here, HRS 11-7 says the
Ralph,
elect
we're
commission.
moving on to the next agenda item. You're out of order.
Point of order, Chair.
I would like to
What
hear
rule
that.
am
That
I
is a
not
point of
following?
order.
Point of order, Chair. So the
What
elections
rule am I
commission,
not following?
I'm reading it to you. 11-7 says the elections commission shall act by a majority vote of its membership. Right now,
The body is 9.
the
and
body
we
is
have-
not 9. It's 7.
5 wins the vote. You're overruled. we're moving to the next agenda item.
Chair, I would like to stay on item 4. I have another motion.
You can appeal it to a higher order. We're moving on to item 4.
This guy.
Chair, we are not done with
Andrian, you're the chair of the other pig.
Chair, I'm inclined to agree with Ralph here, and all the other commissions I've been a part of.
You're out of order
otherwise
also.
says that it's entitled to that body number. It should be the present active members that are on the body.
We have a body of 9. 2 happen to be vacant. Takes 5 to pass a vote.
Would you put that in writing,
also.
Chair?
We're moved to item 4.
Chair, I still have a bunch of
inquiry.
Yeah,
Mr. Andrian, you had a report.
I have a point of inquiry, please.
Yeah, I'm sorry, we're on item 4. Mr. Andrian, you had a report to offer us.
Chair, I'd like to finish with item 3 before we move on.
You're out of order. Mr. Andrian,
I have a point of order.
Report.
An opinion from the Deputy AG on this?
That is exactly what I'd like.
The AG is welcome to chime. Please, could the AG chime in on
I believe unless it's otherwise specified, it's not the entitled number of.
All right. So thank you, Chair Curtis. So Chair Curtis is correct. The statute reads this is HRS 11.7 subsection D. And let me just pull it up so that I'm not misquoting it. But the Elections Commission shall act by majority vote of its membership and shall establish its own procedures except as may be provided by law. This statute sets forth the membership for the commission at 9 members, making a majority vote 5. This is consistent with the commission's own rules on executive meetings, which require, although it only requires a 2/3 vote of those present at the meeting, it still requires a majority vote of which the commission is entitled. It's also consistent with how other commissions and boards are run as well under HRS 92-15.
Thank you. Mr. Andrian, you had a report to offer.
Chair, I have a point of order.
What rule am I not following now?
Chair, I had a court case in the Fifth Circuit Court.
Wait. What rule am I not following?
I'm going to tell you right now.
That means I'm not following a rule. What rule are you not following?
You're not allowing me to finish with item number 3.
Then you're out of order. We're on
You're
item
not
4.
allowing us to finish.
You're out of order.
This was declared by the
You're
Fifth
out of
Circuit.
order. One more time, I'll ask you to leave.
Could you please hear me, Chair?
No, Mr. Andrian.
This is going to be noted in court because then I have an appeal.
You're out of order, and if you continue talking, I'm going to eject you from the meeting again.
1984, folks.
I have an appeal in the
George
Fifth
Orwell,
Section
right here. This is the face
42-3
of George
open
Orwell
meetings.
in Hawaii.
Mr. Andrian, you had a report to offer us?
Yes, I'm going to send it to the secretary now so that it can be disseminated to the commissioners if they want to follow along.
Thank you.
I'll also share my screen so that the report can be read aloud. Let me do that now.
Wow, that was special.
Can we see the top of that, please?
Yeah, I'm going to scroll to the top here. And I also created the PDF version of this if the public wants to follow along. It's at bit.ly/ec-pig2 so everyone can follow along. And first, I just want to thank the commission for forming the pig and allowing our body to investigate into this. And I want to thank my fellow commissioners, Commissioner Cam and Commissioner Kushney, and also members of the public, Victoria, and for Jennifer, and for Jamie, for different ones who have contributed their insight and knowledge into this. I know I'm missing quite a few that have contributed, but to not miss anything, we made the decision to write this out for everyone and read it aloud in this meeting so that it is on video record, it is heard in its entirety. Of course, we'll take some liberties to skip some things that might be just there for reference. So
we'll accept the reading of it, but no discussion is allowed at this meeting.
Absolutely.
We'll
yes, I'm familiar with that, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Andrian.
Thank you, Chair. So we put all of our major findings at the top just so that it's easily accessible for everyone. And of course, we're going to dissect how we came to these conclusions and findings. Number 1, Hawaii's election results based on electronic records are unverifiable. Election officials withhold the underlying daily data, ballot counts, over-underage reports, signature verification logs, and audit data, preventing independent verification. Number 2, None of the 4 county clerk offices have provided chain of custody records that comply with HAR 3177453. And there were more ballots counted in the statewide voter registration system than counties reported collecting. Number 3, the Office of Elections misleads the public about ballot security and the integrity of elections. Number 4, the Chief Election Officer did not certify the 2024 general election results in accordance with the requirements of HRS 11-155. And lastly, number 5, the Election Commission and the Deputy Attorney General's Office suppressed complaints and evidence of malfeasance. This is the introduction of our PIG being formed. I'm going to scroll down here to discussion of member findings, starting with number 1. So to discuss that first point, electronic records, including certified election results, over-under reports, signature verification, and audits conducted using ballot images are not verifiable. The PIG investigation found that the state's reliance on electronic records for election reporting, reconciliation, signature verification, and auditing cannot be independently verified. Freedom of information requests were submitted seeking access to the state's electronic election records, including ballot images generated by the voting system, the electronic over-under reconciliation reports, audit documentation used to certify election results, and the daily records from the SVRS. All of these requests were denied. The Office of Elections has consistently refused to release underlying electronic data, stating security reasons while providing only summary reports. Receiving an electronic report without independent authentication does not satisfy the requirement to maintain a complete and current count, nor does it ensure the reliability and validity of election results. Furthermore, requests for third-party inspection of the electronic voting machines were denied. Without the ability for independent experts to review the hardware, software, and audit logs of the systems, there is no way to verify that the tabulation process was free from manipulation or error. These denials prevent the public, the Elections Commission, and independent experts from confirming that. Confirming that the certified vote totals match the actual votes cast, the over-under reports accurately reconcile the ballots received and ballots counted, signature verification was conducted properly, and doesn't allow them to confirm that ballot image audits were conducted properly. In summary, reliance on electronic systems without independent oversight or public access to records creates a black box system that cannot be validated. The lack of transparency undermines public trust in the electronic process and leaves unresolved questions about the accuracy and reliability of the reported results. And I'm going to ask Commissioner Kim if she can go over point 2A and B.
Okay. I think it's better this way. None of the 4 county clerk offices have provided records that comply with HAR 3-177-453, and there were more ballots counted in the statewide voter registration system than counties reported collecting. Our review of records shows that the number of ballot envelopes reported in the SVRS exceeds the number of envelopes that were collected by Kauai County and Hawaii County. There is no lawful mechanism under Hawaii election law for the number of ballots to increase after collection. The number of envelopes can only decrease due to a non-matching signature, an envelope containing an incorrect ballot, an envelope containing no ballot, or an envelope containing multiple ballots. The absence of daily collection records from Honolulu and Maui, combined with unexplained post-election increases for Kauai and Hawaii, constitutes a clear violation of HAR 3-177-453 and renders mail-in voting unverifiable. Then we go county by county. The county of Hawaii reported 19,042 fewer ballot envelopes collected than mail-in ballots counted by the state. In the 2024 general election, official records from Hawaii County show that 27,912 ballots were collected from official drop boxes. 29,641 ballots were received from the post office, for a total of 57,553 ballot envelopes. However, the state's General Election 2024 Summary Report lists 76,595 mail-in ballots counted for Hawaii County, which is 19,042 more ballots than the number of ballot envelopes collected. These additional ballots appear in the SVRS without any physical paper trail, raising questions about where they came from and if they even exist. When candidate Keikilani Ho asked about this discrepancy, Hawaii County Elections Program Administrator Corey Psyche responded, USPS doesn't always provide us with receipts, which is the difference in the envelope count you are inquiring about. Our office manually counts all election envelopes received daily via USPS drop boxes, email, and voter service centers. Be assured, we can account for all envelopes we receive. Despite these assurances, no county records have been provided that account for the 76,595 mail-in ballots reported by the state for that county. It is not enough for Hawaii County Clerk John Henricks to maintain, quote, no such discrepancy existed or exists. It should be a simple matter to provide the records and satisfy the statutory requirements. Turning to the county of Kauai, it reported different collection totals on different dates and amended its records with no explanation. The PIG investigation into the 2024 general election uncovered significant discrepancies in Kauai County's ballot counts, as well as altered collection records. On November 21st, Kauai County reported 23,303 ballot envelopes received from drop boxes and the USPS. On November 13th, however, the state had reported 27,075 mail ballots counted, resulting in a difference of 3,772. On December 4th, 2024, Kauai County produced a chart showing 26,633 mail ballot envelopes collected from both drop boxes and USPS, an increase from their first report of 3,330. On the first report, 0 ballot envelopes were recorded from USPS on October 22nd, but this figure was changed to 3,004 and added to the total without any signature, date, or explanation. A partial explanation was offered by Deputy County Clerk Lyndon Yoshioka in his response to the PIG's inquiries on August 8th. In that letter, he wrote, the USPS count for October 22nd was inadvertently omitted when the form was initially completed. By the time the staff noticed that the count was missing, the two-part NCR form had already been separated and it was only written onto one copy of the form. Additionally, counts recorded on collection forms are routinely corrected if a discrepancy is identified between the actual quantity of envelopes collected and the corresponding number recorded on a form. End quote. On July 29th, in his response to the PIG, Chief Elections Officer Nago stated the Kauai total was 26,533, with no comment about reducing the total from 26,633 to 26,533. He neglected to explain that the collection for Hanalei Neighborhood Center on November 5th had been mistakenly recorded as 188 when it should have been 88, and he was correcting it after 8 months, but didn't explain it. Taking the county's last revised total of 26,533 and subtracting 219 ballot envelopes removed for non-matching signatures, the resulting total is 26,314 ballot envelopes. This is 761 ballots fewer than the 27,075 reported by the state. Previously, PIG number 1 said that was 661, but since they changed the total, it became more. The PIG uncovered additional discrepancies. The PIG requested receipts from USPS for the ballot envelopes returned to the Voter Service Center on Kauai. On at least 2 occasions, The USPS numbers do not match the numbers recorded on the county's summary chart. As mentioned above, the county recorded, after the fact, 3,004 return envelopes on October 22nd, but the USPS receipt is for only 2,279, a difference of 725. On November 5th, the county recorded 985 ballot envelopes, but the receipt was for 655, a difference of 330. Kauai County has a disclaimer printed on all its collection forms. The disclaimer on the envelope count spreadsheet states, "Figures in this spreadsheet represent a manual count of envelopes, not the number of ballots counted. This spreadsheet was created for internal purposes to track election progress with the understanding that it would not match official election results. It is understood that the number of envelopes collected will not equal the number of ballots counted, but it defies reason to transfer more ballot envelopes than were collected. Even if the reports were only for internal purposes, we expect the county to explain where the extra ballots came from. The PIG expects a verifiable paper audit trail that reconciles as follows: the number of ballot envelopes collected from drop boxes plus the number of ballot envelopes from the USPS minus the number of envelopes that fail signature verification equals the number of mail-in envelopes delivered to the counting center. The misleading, unofficial records from Kauai County undermine its credibility and fail to account for anything."
Thank you, Commissioner Kim. I'll read C and D here. The County of Maui provided no records documenting the number of ballot envelopes collected or transported as required by HER 3177453. In a letter dated March 17th, Chief Election Officer Scott Nago admitted that documentation concerning the transfer of validated mail ballot envelopes from Maui County to the State Counting Center was missing. Mr. Nago attributed the absence of records to human error, caused by the volume of forms and documents handled during the election, and he asserted that this omission was not indicative of a systemic issue or breach in the security of the ballots, emphasizing that election processes are purposefully layered for redundancies. Nago downplayed the seriousness and dismissed the consequences of missing those records. While Mr. Nago further insisted that the county clerks maintain a record of the number of envelopes accepted through the statewide voter registration system on a regular basis, none of those records have been made available to our PIG. This lack of public transparency and failure to provide a verifiable paper audit trail directly contravenes HER 3177453, which requires that county clerks maintain a complete and current count of all marks ballots issued, spoiled, and received in their county, and that this accounting be properly documented. Without such documentation, there is no way to confirm that the ballots counted at the state level correspond to ballot envelopes physically collected in Maui County. While Mr. Nago claims that layers of redundancy protect the integrity of the mail-in voting process, the actual safeguards written in the law were ignored, thereby undermining confidence in election integrity. Letter D. The city and county of Honolulu provided no records documenting the number of ballot envelopes collected or transported. The PIG investigation determined that the city and county of Honolulu failed to provide detailed records documenting the number of ballot envelopes collected at each drop box during the 2024 general election. Although Honolulu election officials maintained internal forms indicating that ballot envelopes were picked up from drop boxes, these forms did not include the number of envelopes collected from each location. The lack of specific counts defeats the purpose of having a chain of custody record, which is to create a verifiable and continuous record of the number of ballot envelopes collected at each stage of handling, again, as required by the statute. During the election, observer Jamie Detweiler questioned why these numbers were not being recorded. She was told by Honolulu election officials that there was not enough time or manpower to count the envelopes collected from the drop boxes. This response indicates that the statutory requirement for documentation was knowingly set aside, providing another example of how the officials choose not to follow the law. The failure to record counts for each Dropbox location undermines the ability to reconcile the total number of mail ballot envelopes collected with the number of ballots ultimately counted. Without these records, it is impossible to confirm that the totals reported for the city and county of Honolulu are accurate. And Commissioner Cam, would you mind doing section 3 for us next?
Sure. So the third finding, the Office of Elections has misled the public about ballot security and the integrity of mail-in voting. The Office of Elections addresses voters' concerns on its website in a Q&A section that assures voters that their mail-in ballots are secure. One of the questions is, how do you ensure election officials don't throw away or add ballots? The answer, ballots are always transported and processed in the presence of official observers. Official observers serve as the eyes and ears of the public and monitor that election officials are maintaining the security and integrity of the elections. Additionally, the number of ballots received and counted are reconciled at the end of each day to ensure there are no discrepancies. Election security Q&A guidance from the Office of Elections implies that official observers are present whenever ballot envelopes are handled. But Scott Nago explained in his letter of April 25th to the former PIG that, quote, the designation of official observers applies specifically to the handling of voted ballots as they are opened and processed at the counting center. This is in contrast to the broad observation of election procedures, some of which may occur outside of the counting center and be under the purview of the county clerks. The PIG emphasizes that the collecting, counting, handling, and packing of mail-in ballot envelopes by the counties is not subject to official observers. Sometimes a county will grant official observers access as a courtesy, but it is not required by law and it does not happen routinely. The representation on the Office of Elections website is untrue. It is also untrue that, quote, the number of ballots received and counted are reconciled at the end of each day to ensure there are no discrepancies. Clearly, this does not happen, as evidenced in the multiple reports from Kauai County discussed above. In addition, the city and county of Honolulu and Maui County did not maintain any daily records of the number of ballot envelopes collected, as reported above. Hawaii County also delivered reports that revealed discrepancies, but there was no reconciliation, quote, at the end of the day, at the end of each day. The language on the website refers to the meaning of HAR 3-177-453, which states all ballots shall be safeguarded to prevent mishandling or misuse. If there is no record of the ballots until the envelopes are scanned into SVRS, there is nothing to prevent mishandling or misuse. There are not multiple ways to interpret this language. Yet Kauai Deputy County Clerk Lyndon Yoshioka wrote, for the record, the state and counties fulfill requirements of HAR 3-177-453B through total vote, the statewide voter registration system and system of record for maintaining the complete and current count of ballots issued, spoiled, and received by the county. These electronic records, however, are summaries, and ballot envelopes can be in a county's possession for days or weeks before a summary report is created. The count is not current, and on any given day, it is not complete. For example, the first day ballot envelopes were received on Kauai was October 18th, when they recorded 81 envelopes from the post office. But the first date of an envelope transfer form, which is based on scanning the envelopes into the system, was October 26th. So there was no complete and current count for 8 days. The members of this PIG join the many citizens who have testified at Election Commission meetings in expecting that a complete and current count of marked sense ballots consists of paper records that tally the number of ballot envelopes or ballots at various points of collection and transfer. The purpose of this paper trail is to document that there has not been any tampering of ballots. It is not known what happens in the county clerk's office, but it is presumed that someone feeds the ballot envelopes into a scanner that records the voter information and assesses the signature, thereby creating a baseline for a, quote, complete and current count. But there are problems with this methodology. A, the envelopes have already been collected and delivered, handled, and counted before they are scanned. And B, those electronic records can only be accessed by staff and cannot be verified by anyone else. In other words, there is no transparency and no accountability. The PIG sees discrepancies between the manual counts provided by Kauai and Hawaii counties and the ballots counted by the state, while the Office of Elections and the county clerks maintain there are no discrepancies. This argument could be settled if the Office of Elections and the county clerks would release the records to the commission. There is no justification for suppressing them. Officials presume exclusive control over the records and act as though the public has no right to the underlying truth. Continuing to insist that it does not matter how many envelopes were collected from the drop boxes or delivered by UPS will not satisfy the public's demand for verification.
Thank you, Commissioner Kim. I'll continue with our finding number 4. The PIG investigation concluded that the Chief Election Officer did not certify the 2024 general election results in accordance with the requirements of HRS 11-155. Despite the requirements of HRS 11-155, certification of results of election, the Chief Election Officer certified the 2024 election results without reconciling the documented discrepancies in ballot counts between the counties and the state, without producing a paper trail, and without making the overage-underage report available for public inspection in a timely manner. Ralph Cushney challenged the Kauai election results in a case filed at the Hawaii Supreme Court on November 25th. On that same day, Scott Nagel certified the election. On December 2nd, before the case was even heard, the Kauai County Clerk certified the County Council election and administered oaths of office at an inauguration ceremony. On December 18th, the County Council met and conducted business, and it was not until December 20 that the Supreme Court dismissed the case. When questions about certifying the election before the expiration time for bringing an election contest, the county clerk wrote that the council member certificates were withheld until after the judgment on December 20th. That seems a moot point, considering that the council was sworn in, attending meetings, and conducting business. Significantly, it was not until March 17th, months after the election had been certified, that the Chief Election Officer admitted in writing to the Elections Commission that Maui County had failed to produce the required records documenting ballot collections and transfers. This admission demonstrates that the certification of the election was completed without knowledge of whether Maui County's statutory documentation requirements had been met, in direct conflict, again, with the reconciliation process mandated by HRS 11-155. And our finding is number 5, the Elections Commission and the Deputy Attorney General's Office suppressed complaints and evidence of malfeasance. The PIG investigation has documented a pattern of suppression of complaints, denial of evidence, access to evidence, and obstruction of oversight by the Office of Elections, the Attorney General's Office assigned to the Office of Elections, and the Attorney General's Office assigned to the Elections Commission. Records reviewed by the PIG show that the Deputy AG's office consistently advises against transparency by issuing legal opinions that restrict public access to key election records. Notably, the DAG's office has authorized and defended the redaction of email communication among the chair of the Elections Commission, Chief Election Officer Scott Nagel, and among the staff of the Office of Elections. These redactions have been claimed under attorney-client privilege, even though it is the Elections Commission, not the chair, that is the client. This interpretation has been repeatedly used to shield discussions and decision-making from both commissioners and the public. Even though the duties of the Elections Commission pursuant to HRS 11-7.53 include investigating and holding hearings for receiving evidence of violations and complaints, a majority of the commissioners have consistently voted no on motions to investigate or audit complaints submitted by the members of the public. Despite repeated public requests for investigation, numerous complaints have been left unresolved. The formation of this PIG was long overdue, and we are grateful for the opportunity to conduct this investigation. So here are our recommendations. Number one, that an external independent manual audit of all ballot envelopes, USPS receipts, and mail-in ballots is required to reconcile ballot discrepancies for the 2024 general election. The PIG investigation concludes that Hawaii's election oversight structure is fundamentally incapable of self-policing. We recommend an external audit be conducted by an independent, non-government body to the same standards as apply to financial institutions. Prior to the audit, all records must remain in storage and out of reach of any officials or staff, overnight or otherwise. This audit should consist of manual counts of ballot envelopes for each county, USPS receipts for each county, and mail-in ballots for each county. The audit should also include an examination of the signatures on the ballot envelopes compared to the official signatures of record. And Commissioner Cam, I'll have you do number 2 for us.
Okay. Number 2 is return to in-person voting on paper ballots on election day. After studying the pitfalls associated with mail-in voting, the PIG does not recommend trying to bolster the mail-in voting model in an effort to improve accountability and transparency. Modifying the system will require trial and error that will take years to accomplish. Rather, the PIG recommends that the state of Hawaii return to in-person voting with paper ballots on election day for the following reasons. Mail-in voting was supposed to be conducted only by Kauai County in 2020 as a trial, but due to COVID, it was expanded to the entire state. As an experiment, it has failed because the elections are unverifiable. The laws that were designed to secure the validity and reliability of mail-in voting have been routinely ignored or reinterpreted rather than followed to the letter. One of the arguments in favor of mail-in voting was that it would increase participation, but that has not been the case. These are the statistics from the Office of Elections. In 2016, 34% of registered voters, 2018, 38%, 2020, 51%, 2022, 39%, 2024, 32%. With the exception of 2020, when we were in lockdown, there was no significant difference in participation between in-person voting and mail-in voting. Returning to in-person voting on election day will eliminate the need for staff to collect from the drop boxes and to man the voter service center. Returning to in-person voting does away with relying on USPS to deliver the bulk of the envelopes. As was noted above in the section about the County of Hawaii, USPS has sometimes failed to produce receipts for return mail delivered. When people vote in person, their signatures are verified on the spot, eliminating the need to scan ballot envelopes and rely on computer algorithms. Signature verification has proven to be a time-consuming bottleneck on election day, delaying the election results until the following day. When people vote in person, transparency is assured because observers watch ballots counted and recorded at the precincts and delivered to the counting center, where irregularities can be addressed on the spot using the voter verifiable paper audit trail. Election day is already a state holiday that entitles citizens to vote in person.
Thank you, Commissioner Kemp. Our third recommendation is to terminate the employment of Chief Elections Officer Scott Nago. PIG refers to HRS 19-3, election frauds. The Chief Election Officer fails, neglects, or refuses to adhere to the law. Chief Election Officer does not comply with statutes and administrative rules for election reporting. His defense of missing records, non-standard procedures, and local variation in maintaining paper logs indicates a tolerance for deviating from the law. His posture raises serious concerns as the law has clearly mandated procedures. The PIG refers to HRS 11-98, forms and materials used in elections. Chief Elections Officer Scott Nago has asserted that the forms used to track the ballots are electronic as opposed to physical, verifiable forms. He also admits that in terms of the documentation or of transfer, each county does it their own way. Rather than enforcing a standardized, verifiable paper trail, Nago tolerates and even defends a patchwork of different practices, including no record keeping at all. The PIG refers to HRS 11-155, certification of results of election. As outlined above in section 4, Mr. Nago certified that the election, while the results of the election were being challenged in the Hawaii Supreme Court. Several months later, he also admitted that Maui County had failed to produce the required records documenting ballot collection and transfers. The PIG refers to HRS 11-2, Chief Election Officer duties. As the head of the mail-in voting system, Nago has created a culture of us versus them, officials versus public, that is also manifested at the county level. He creates controversy over simple requests for information and suppresses the facts from the public. The officials seem to think that they only need to satisfy themselves about election accuracy. They feel free not to produce records or to explain them, and the rest of us are expected to take their word for it. Therefore, the PIG recommends that the Elections Commission recruit a new Chief Elections Officer who would enthusiastically rebuild the Office of Elections to serve the public and restore its trust. And I'd like to also, as we did with the other PIG, offer time for closing remarks from the other commissioners on the PIG.
You can read this statement, and we'll discuss it at the next meeting.
They're not discussing, Chair, just like you did with the other PIG. They're just giving closing remarks. Does
closing remarks or entry remarks at the next meeting? You asked to read this. Did you have any more to read?
No, but
then
clarify for me, because at the last meeting you allowed the other PIG to give closing remarks. All three of them gave closing remarks on the report that we're, as a PIG, submitting our report, and that should be included in our report, our closing remarks. I don't think
you asked to read it. You made plenty of remarks during this. But go ahead, Dylan. What do you have to say?
I'm yielding the floor to my fellow PIG members so that they can make closing remarks.
Okay, 3 minutes each, please.
Yes, Chair, I'd like to start. So okay. I'd like to discuss a few items that were not included in the PIG report, but the public should know.
No, we're receiving the PIG report, period. Commentary on the PIG report is welcome. Additional items are not.
Closing remarks, Chair.
Additional items are not accepted. If you add additional items, I'm going to cut you off.
The Chair in the Office of Elections refused to answer the questions that we asked while conducting our investigation.
Was that in the written report? That was in the written report. Thank you. Any other additional comments? Dylan, did you have some?
I'm making additional comments. I just told you.
You're adding to the report. Ralph, you're out of order. Dylan,
explain what we can say right now, Chair. Explain it.
You're adding to the report. It's already entered in the report. That's enough. We're receiving the report. Dylan, did you have some commentary?
So what commentary are you?
Ralph, you're out of order. Dylan.
I was yielding the floor to Commissioner Cam and Commissioner Cushing for closing remarks.
Lindsay Cam.
I'll pass.
Thank you.
Chair, I got a point of order.
Yes, what rule am I not following?
On item 3, discussion and decision making, you limited us to voting and discussing one item.
That's for the next meeting on this report.
I'm talking item number 3.
Item 3.
We're done with item 3. We're on item 4. We're receiving the report.
You're
discuss it and decide at the next meeting.
You're obstructing the agenda. It says discussion and decision making.
The commissioner has a motion.
You're limiting
discussion and decision making on item 3. We're on item 4.
We did not finish.
We're receiving the report. We'll discuss it and decide at the next meeting.
We did
because
not
of all
finish.
the agenda items, including the complaints that need to be considered by the commission, I would suggest we have monthly meetings on the last Wednesday of each month from now until we decide to change that. So the next meeting is the last Wednesday of September, and that'll be September 24th at 10 o'clock when we'll further discuss this report.
Chair, can
Point
I
of order, Chair. We're not done with item 3.
What rule? Item 3 we're done with. We're on item
No,
4.
we only made one decision.
Ralph, we're on item 4.
How can you limit the decision?
You're out of order.
This is very complex.
You're out of order.
To make. Why are you limiting it to one?
If you continue, I'm going to eject you from the meeting again.
Why are you limiting it to
You're
one?
ejected from the meeting for obstructing the agenda. Dylan, did you have anything else on item number 4?
No, Chair, but I was going to add, I think we should have our meeting sooner than that. Our cool down period is only 6 days. And I think there's actionable items that our PIG has recommended that the public would like to see us take. So
I'm giving about 30-day notice, more than 6, so that we will be discussing and deciding on item number 4, your report that we just received. With that, and with nothing else on the agenda, I'll adjourn the meeting until our next meeting on September 24th at 10 a.m. Thank you for your time.
Chair, you forgot that you do need to let public testify on item number.
Oh, brah, that was messed up. Okay, well, I got that one recorded on my phone. We will bust that one out. Thanks everybody for watching. Let's see if we got anybody in our little chat room. I sent the invite to a couple people to see if anybody had time to pop in. We had a few people. We had Jessica Priya, the founder of Hawaii Parents United, pop in. We had Mike Yellen, who is doing legal work over on Big Island. He helped to file the Team Humanity lawsuit against Hawaii Governor Josh Green and all of the county mayors for crimes against humanity, which Megeso Dennis and Kele Onalani Taylor Akana and I went and served to the mayor of Kauai, to their legal representative. And then Kele also served Hawaii Governor Josh Green. Then 4 days later, she got attacked and assaulted, tased by like 4 or 5 police officers from Honolulu PD. So yeah, it is ridiculous what's happening here in Hawaii. This stuff is like crazier than Hawaii 5-0. It's crazier than any movie I could have ever imagined. You cannot make this stuff up. Yeah, so please everyone stay tuned on what's happening in Hawaii. Go on Instagram, go on Facebook, go on X, and connect with people in Hawaii. Ask them for their opinion and what they are seeing going on. Before, Hawaii was really just a dark corner of the world where the public, the general public, most Americans had never heard about anything that's going on there, going on here. This was the place where everything used to get swept under the rug. But now with the internet, with podcasting, with a few brave souls that are out there speaking truth to power, now we are able to shine a light on this present darkness, this corruption that has been festering for generation after generation here in the archipelago of Hawaii. Ko Hawaii Pai'aina is where we stand. Yeah, the power was originally usurped from the people, from the queen, from the monarchy. And as BJ Penn once said, what starts with a lie ends with a lie. It's real, guys. It is really nitty gritty, real dirty stuff going on here in Hawaii. So please go on X, follow the account Doge in Hawaii, DOGEINHAWII, Doge in Hawaii. Follow Always Aloha, 2021 ALWAYS ALOHA 2021 on X. Follow both of those accounts on X and see who they are connecting with and tagging there, and then you will start to get a more broad picture from different perspectives and different islands. You will get to see what is happening here in Hawaii. And with that, I yield. I'm Andrew Aker, the founder and the loudmouth here at Maui Freedom TV. And as you see back here, HFTV, which is Hawaii Freedom TV. And really, you are Freedom TV. Anybody who's got a phone, and oh, you can't even see my phone. Anybody who's got a phone, anybody who's got a brain can then go hold powerful people, hold government employees, hold police, hold district attorneys, prosecutors, judges, hold them all accountable. Because if we don't do it, who will? And if we don't do it now, then we will have digital slave cities, Agenda 2030 in full effect. So, you know the rules. Aloha and a hui ho. Shoots, I missed the comments on Instagram. I accidentally hit the button before the end.